Chapter 1538. After Zhu Zhuqing watched the latter disappear, she snorted lightly. Seventh sister, are you still going to try? Oscar and the rest asked awkwardly. No, it's already very obvious. What's there to try? Zhu Zhuqing shook her head. Besides, it's not the same as before. If I continue to try, it'll be too deliberate. Everyone nodded. Wang Feng's purpose in coming to the dark demon world was actually not complicated, they could also see it. The group walked out of the courtyard's restriction one after another. Next, we should find a chance to return to the God realm. Ma Hongjun suggested. The dark demon world is not suitable for us to cultivate in. However, it also allowed us to experience the strength and aspects of this world. It's much more than our God realm. They were gods of the God realm after all. What they cultivated was not dark demon energy. This place had a certain negative effect on them. It was very difficult to improve by staying in the dark demon world. Originally, they wanted to disguise themselves as soul demons, then enter the upper echelons, find a chance to destroy the invasion of the God realm, and return to the God realm. Now that Wang Feng had come to the dark demon world, and had settled everything, there was naturally no need to do so. They continued to return to the God realm to cultivate, and then see if they could help the God realm with what they saw and heard in the dark demon world. After all, they had lived in the God realm for decades. They had an extremely strong sense of belonging to the God realm. As the group walked out, Wang Feng coughed lightly twice. He knew that these guys were definitely hiding in the dark. Did she leave? Zhu Zhuqing walked over and asked softly. She left. Wang Feng nodded slightly and glanced at her expression. In the past, although Zhu Zhuqing was very tough, her emotions were very restrained. After so many years, there was a change, but it was not very big. Zhu Zhuqing was silent for a moment, then said, Actually, the Rongrong just now was me in disguise. I was testing you. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Zhu Zhuqing to confess directly. Testing me for what? Wang Feng asked. To see if you are Wang Feng, and to see who you came to the dark devil world for. Zhu Zhuqing turned her head slightly and looked at Wang Feng from the corner of her eyes. Also, I want to know if you still have us in your heart after so many years. Then did you find out? Wang Feng asked again. I don't know. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head as a smile appeared on her face. She then snorted, You're so smart. Who knows if you're just pretending to deceive me? Wang Feng smiled. She was really smart to say it out loud. He didn't hide anything. However, that person from earlier was not me in disguise. Zhu Zhuqing said seriously. Although I don't know if she is the real person, she should have a close relationship with Bibidan. Also, she is that heavenly devil venerable. Wang Feng. Heavenly devil venerable? Wang Feng was stunned and kept silent for a few seconds. However, he wasn't that surprised. He had some guesses in his heart. I don't know how many times I've fought with her in the divine realm. If there's anyone in the divine realm who is most familiar with her, it's none other than me. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly smiled mischievously. So, from the very beginning when that heavenly devil venerable pretended to be demon god and wanted to kill us, I had a premonition that it was her. Then your premonition is really accurate, Wang Fengxin said. At that time, Wang Feng definitely couldn't feel it himself, because the memory of the other party in his mind was gone. It was impossible to have a premonition. Sit down. After so many years, I'll talk to you about what happened in these years. Wang Feng pulled Zhu Zhuqing and sat with everyone in the courtyard beside them. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes lit up as she obediently leaned on Wang Feng's side. Xiao Chen quietly listened to Wang Feng slowly recount what happened after he sealed himself. In the current situation, these things were no longer a secret to Wang Feng. From the seal of the Divine Mountain, 10,000 years of comprehension, to the 5 great soul-beast wars in the Douluo world, and the matter of temporarily breaking out of the mountain and condensing a clone. He slowly talked about it. Wang Feng didn't think that the matter of the clone was a secret. He didn't need to pretend to be any identity now, because he was now famous in the 9 regions of the Dark Demon Realm under the name of Wang Feng. However, he simply said that he had cultivated a kind of magic that allowed him to condense a clone from the life source of his main body to cultivate his martial soul. What, your body is a clone? Hearing Wang Feng say that he was a clone, Zhu Zhuqing, who was still obediently leaning on his shoulder, suddenly exclaimed and then took a few steps away with a look of disgust. Zhuqing, what do you mean? Wang Feng's face darkened and he said speechlessly, this divine ability of mine makes the clone and the main body exactly the same. At that time, the 3 bodies can be combined into one, and its strength will be several levels higher. It's just to distinguish between the clone and the main body. Then I also don't think it's good. Zhu Zhuqing said softly with a red face. You're already a god, but you still value the body so much. You have to know that the soul is the most important. Wang Feng knocked Zhu Zhuqing's head. Oh, then do you like big ones? Zhu Zhuqing walked over again and asked in a voice that only the 2 of them could hear, since you don't value the body, then I'll become smaller in the future. You don't mind, right? This is not the same thing. Wang Feng said righteously, this is absolutely not. Zhu Zhuqing blushed slightly and laughed. Clone. When Ma Hongjun heard this, his eyes suddenly lit up, and a dirty smile appeared on his face. He hurriedly raised his hand and said, Brother Feng, what kind of divine ability is this? It's so powerful, can we practice it? Do you need me to practice it and help you see if there are any side effects of this divine ability? After saying this, Ma Hongjun laughed mischievously a few times. Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun at the side looked at each other. The 2 of them had been through thick and thin together in the mortal realm. At this moment, they revealed a tacit smile. However, before he finished speaking, Bai Qinxiang, who was beside Ma Hongjun, pinched Ma Hongjun's ear and directly twisted it 180 degrees. Damn fatty, keep your secret thoughts to yourself. I think you want to cultivate a clone to flirt with women, right? After so many years, do you think I don't know what you're thinking? As Ma Hongjun's partner, Bai Qinxiang and Ma Hongjun ascended to the divine realm together. They were already husband and wife for an old time. Ma Hongjun, who was no longer a fatty, immediately cried out in pain and said that he didn't dare to. When Zhu Zhuqing heard this, she immediately stared at Wang Feng and used her mental power to transmit her voice. Wang Feng, tell me honestly, do you also have such thoughts in your heart? Is that why you're practicing this divine ability? Of course not. Wang Feng immediately replied. It's because I have 3 special martial spirits that I need to cultivate that I'm practicing this divine ability. There's absolutely no such thing as flirting with women. Oh, then tell me, what's your relationship with that girl called Inu in the sky? Although we don't know what happened in the battle between you and the 3 demon gods, I saw it clearly. But I saw it clearly before. Zhu Zhuqing had a look of disbelief on her face. Chapter 1539. Zhu Zhuqing still wanted to say something, but Wang Feng immediately interrupted her, and then continued to talk about what happened after he left the Divine Mountain. Later, he entered the Shrek Academy 10,000 years in the future, then founded the Soul Contractor, spread it to the whole continent through the Pinnacle Soul Master competition, and then found the traces of the Soul Demon and so on. Everyone listened with relish, and sometimes they were even relaxed and happy. Especially the Soul Contractor. It made everyone exclaim again and again. The Soul Contractor solved the biggest conflict between the soul beasts and humans in the Douluo world, right? Brother Feng, why did you think of inventing the life-soul contract and establishing the Soul Contractor? Oscar sincerely felt that this was definitely an epoch-making change for the Douluo world. Wang Feng was also stunned by this question. Yes, why did I establish the Soul Contractor in the first place? Was it to change the world? It shouldn't be. When I woke up 10,000 years ago, at most, I had a leisurely attitude of watching the world change with a smile, and everything had nothing to do with me. What do you want to change after eating too much? Wang Feng noticed the memory lapse and knew that it was most likely related to another woman. After I woke up, I saw several world wars between the soul beasts and humans one after another, and I deeply felt the many disasters brought to the continent by the calamity, so I came up with this idea. Wang Feng coughed and said righteously. Oscar and the others looked at Wang Feng in amazement. As expected of Brother Feng, Zhu Zhuqing frowned slightly. She felt something was wrong. Is that so? Zhu Zhuqing remembered that Wang Feng pretended to be the White Popediff and infiltrated the Martial Spirit Palace. To put it nicely, it was to disintegrate the Martial Spirit Palace. In fact, even the Pope was hooked. Now thinking about it, this was probably his ultimate goal in his heart, right? Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Wang Feng, but didn't say anything, but nodded slightly. Time flew by, and countless days and months of longing often made her recall bits and pieces of that year. It was as if it was vivid in her mind, incomparably clear. There was surprise, excitement, pain, sweetness, and happiness. Of course, the more she recalled, the more she understood Wang Feng's every move in the past. Perhaps only Zhu Zhuqing, with her introverted mind, could think of many details that she had not thought deeply about back then. The look in Zhu Zhuqing's eyes made Wang Fengxin's heart skip a beat. Then, Wang Feng calmly continued to talk about other things, especially after entering the Divine Realm with the Silver Dragon and encountering the happenings in the Divine Realm. Later on, he met the old troops of the Imperial Devil Emperor army and disguised himself as Demon God Dai. He had a conflict with Demon God Shang in the Void Domain, and then used the Origin Tribulation Deity King to scare Demon God Shang away before coming to the Dark Devil world. However, Wang Feng's recount of many things was rather sketchy because there were gaps in his memory. In any case, as long as there was a gap, Wang Feng could conclude that it was definitely related to women. However, most of them were still in good condition. What Wang Feng found strange was why the Silver Dragon still had some of its memories. After thinking about it, Wang Feng felt that it might be because of the blood essence. The Silver Dragon had fused with his blood essence, and might have a certain bloodline connection with him. As such, the Crimson Deity Celestial Fox did not completely delete the memories of all the intimate women in Wang Feng's clone. So, Brother Feng, you're pretending to be Demon God Dai? When they heard this, they were dumbfounded. You! Zhu Zhuqing looked at Wang Feng with a face full of shame and anger. So, you already knew that I was testing you. You're Demon God Dai. You were there at that time and must have secretly heard the mental transmission between me and them. Cough cough. I guess so. Wang Feng nodded. There was no need to hide the identity of Demon God Dai because there was no need for it anymore. After obtaining the God-forbidden space and collecting the Heaven Styx River, this identity had a certain use. However, there was no need to hide it from Zhu Zhuqing and the others. Zhu Zhuqing turned her head. However, since she had already admitted it openly, she was not angry now. After that, Wang Feng explained what happened in the Dark Devil world in simple terms. Because most of the things were known in the God world, only when he returned from the wormhole, and what happened in the Green Sun Devil region's Red Hill was not known. As for the Crimson Deity Celestial Fox deleting part of his clone's memories, Wang Feng did not mention it. He only said that he paid a huge price to escape from that place. After he finished, everyone sighed. I've been in the God world for dozens of years, and I feel that so many things have not happened. Ma Hongjun sighed. It was only when I traveled to other worlds and spread the might of the Fire God that it was slightly interesting. Later, after the God world's faith shrine was closed by the mysterious power of the Dark Devil world, our God world was mysteriously cut off from the other world. We could only feel that those subordinate worlds still had our God world's laws. However, the faith shrine's passageway to those worlds had completely disappeared. At that time there were already signs of a god war. Almost every god could only be trapped in the god world and cultivate. Hearing this, Wang Feng was slightly stunned. Mysterious power? Wang Feng was puzzled. He remembered that when he came to the Dark Devil world, other than checking in at the Well of Reincarnation, he had to create the Dark Devil world. Because only the Dark Devil world's creation devil source could open the passageway to the lower world. This was also the prerequisite to return to the Douluo world. Otherwise, he could only see if the system would give him a chance. As for who asked Wang Feng to find the creation devil source, Wang Feng's memory had a gap. This meant that it was very likely a woman with a very special relationship with him who asked him to find it. Yes, the God World's Faith Shrine can lead to all subordinate worlds of the God World. And the Faith Shrine is the God World's Shrine of Law. Oscar explained. Even the 5 God Kings can't change it. They only have the responsibility to protect it. Before the Divine War, the Divine Palace of Faith was closed. At that time, the 5 Divine Kings were shocked. Third Brother also told us that the change in the Divine Palace of Faith meant that the Divine World's Genesis Divine Source might have a great change. The Divine World will be in turmoil. Vaguely, Wang Feng understood. That mysterious power came from the Dark Devil world? Wang Feng asked. Of course. The 5 God Kings must have come from the Dark Devil world. And when we came to the Dark Devil world, we found that although the Dark Devil world is vast, there are places similar to the Faith Shrine. That is the Clear Sky Palace. Wang Feng was silent for a moment. Clear Sky Palace, Clear Sky Palace. This place was indeed very special. Yama Lord, Clear Sky Palace, Reincarnation Well, Creation Devil Source. Wang Feng knew that there must be a special connection between these people. The Reincarnation Well was very likely the key to finding the Creation Devil Source. The Clear Sky Palace was where Yama Lord was. If he wanted to know the location of the Reincarnation Well and how Yama Lord got there, he had to go there. And that Bibidon was there too. She had come to the Dark Devil world and even entered the Clear Sky Palace. He wondered what had happened there. Or was there some kind of connection between her and these people? All this made Wang Fengxin's mind clear and fuzzy. End of chapter. Chapter 1540. After chatting with them for a long time, Wang Feng told them about what happened to him. He also listened to them talk about what happened to them in the God Realm. Compared to the God Realm, before the Dark Demon Realm took action, they spent most of their time in the God Realm cultivating. Otherwise, they would tour the various realms. Relatively speaking, there were not many ups and downs. However, touring many other realms and spreading power was a very interesting thing in itself. Therefore, they did not feel bored in the God Realm. Before the Dark Demon Realm's War of the Gods, they had a very comfortable life. After the War of the Gods, the situation took a turn for the worse. That's right, Wang Feng suddenly remembered something. Fatty, do you remember that I said that I took in a few disciples in the Douluo world 10,000 years later to spread the word of Soul Contractor? One of them had the same martial soul as you. Even the initial symptoms were very similar. How are they related to you? Ah! Ma Hongjun was stunned. Beside him, Bai Qinxiang was also stunned. Let me think. Ma Hongjun hurriedly said, before Chen Xiang and I entered the God Realm, we stayed in the Douluo continent for about 100 years. During that time, Chen Xiang and I lived in our own world and never separated. After we ascended to the God Realm, we had a child. What about the child? Wang Feng glanced at the two. This child was definitely not born after Ma Hongjun became a god. The reason was very simple. Ma Hongjun's martial soul had no defects in the later stage, and it was even more so after he became a god. Therefore, the remaining child would inherit the martial soul from that time. Even if it was not with Ma Hongjun's strength, he could easily deal with it. He would not inherit a Fire Phoenix martial soul with side effects to his descendants. Therefore, Wang Feng was probably a descendant left behind by Ma Hongjun before he became a god? After the child was born, he inherited his martial soul. Bai Qinxiang continued, but at that time, Brother Jun was at the crucial moment of advancing from a second-tier god to a first-tier god. His deity position and I had a subordinate relationship. When he advanced, I had to advance too. After the child was born, we entrusted a subordinate god of Brother Jun to look after him temporarily. He and I planned to join forces to break through first. After that, on the eve of the outbreak of the War of the Gods, that subordinate god brought his child out to play and patrol the lower realm. However, he was attacked by a soul demon. When we came out of seclusion, he was already dead. Before he died, the companion who came back with him said that the lower realm they were patrolling was the Douluo world, so that child should have stayed in the Douluo world. Bai Qinxiang sighed softly. He's a boy. He should be very well behaved. If he could live until now, he would have started a family long ago. Hearing this, Wang Feng sighed. If that was the case, Wang Feng roughly understood what was going on. It could only be said that fate was playing tricks on people. If there was no accident, Ma Xiaotao should be the descendant of that child's descendant. After the bloodline change, Ma Xiaotao's martial soul wasn't perfectly inherited. Perhaps the child was injured for some reason, so it didn't completely form Ma Hongjuan's martial soul. Big Brother Feng, you're saying that the disciple you accepted is the descendant of me and Qinxiang? Ma Hongjun was a little excited. It's possible. Her surname is Ma, and her martial soul is exactly the same as yours. Even the side effects are exactly the same. Wang Feng nodded. That's great. Since the mysterious energy changed the Temple of Faith, we didn't even know the location of the Douluo world. We went into seclusion for several years, and when we came out, we learned about it. We wanted to go to the Douluo world to search, but we found that we couldn't go at all. Ma Hongjun sighed, and his tone was dry. At that time, I regretted it very much. If I had known, I wouldn't have gone into seclusion. At least, I should have taken care of the child for a few years, or given the child to Dai Laohu and the others. But at that time, they all had their own things. I didn't want to trouble them too much. My subordinate priestess was also my confidant, and she was trained by me. Wang Feng could hear the regret, annoyance, and pain from Ma Hongjuan's words. Wang Feng looked at the rest of them. His eyes were a little touched. These were all from the Douluo world together back then. They already had their own children and descendants, but because of the divine war, everything changed. After I came to the divine realm, I thought the divine realm was the strongest, and we could live a stable life. Oscar shook his head helplessly and sighed. I just didn't expect that we only saw the sky. The divine realm is not safe. Instead, the stronger we become, the more insignificant we feel. Chi-Chi and I didn't have any children. In fact, a few years before the Divine War, when we saw Third Brother and Fatty gradually having children, Chi-Chi and I also considered it. But after thinking about it, Chi-Chi and I don't have strong fighting abilities, and the dark demon world is restless. If we have children, once some war breaks out, the children will be born and suffer. We can't even protect them. Listening to everyone's sighs, Wang Feng was silent. Zhu Zhuqing held Wang Feng's hand and gently squeezed it. She looked at him with blinking eyes, probably because she could feel Wang Feng's state of mind. After that, they chatted for a while, throwing away all kinds of worries, and began to talk about the changes that would happen after Wang Feng came to the dark demon world, and the future and thoughts of the divine realm. They planned to return to the divine realm in a few days. After everyone went to rest with their companions, only Wang Feng and Zhu Zhuqing were left alone. What do you plan to do next? Without everyone's figures, the courtyard seemed especially empty, but also incomparably quiet. Zhu Zhuqing nestled in Wang Feng's arms, as if she didn't mind whether or not she was a clone or not. Of course, the next step is to be intimate with you, Wang Feng said with a smile. They've all left. Zhu Zhuqing blushed slightly and glanced at him. I'm asking you what you plan to do next in the dark demon world. Will you still return to the divine realm? I know where that mysterious power came from, and I want to find it. Otherwise, the temple of faith in the divine realm can't be restored, the passage can't be opened, and I can't return to the Douluo world. My main body is still there. I will definitely return to the divine realm. Then what if you go to the Clear Sky Palace and don't return to the divine realm? Zhu Zhuqing asked. That's impossible. That mysterious power is not in the Clear Sky Palace. I'm going to the Clear Sky Palace because that place has information I need to know. As for her, I'm just going to take a look and ask about the situation, Wang Feng explained. While we're at it, can we get intimate again? Wang Fengxin thought, with Bibidan's temperament, it probably wasn't just a matter of taking a look. But girls, hearing the jealousy in Zhu Zhuqing's words, Wang Feng felt that it was useless to say anything more at this time. End of chapter. Chapter 1541. Under Zhu Zhuqing's slightly flustered expression, he carried her into the inner room of the courtyard and said, I'll only be intimate with you, Zhu Qing. Is that okay? No. Zhu Zhuqing turned her head away. Wang Feng smiled. As the night fell, not long after, a low murmur came from the room. Yes, Wang Feng found that even if part of the memory of Wang Feng had disappeared, but as the two of them got closer and closer, the feeling of liking, the feelings in his heart, did not disappear. The only things that had disappeared were those experiences. Even if the experiences disappeared, the feelings were still there. Wang Feng thought that he had been single in the Divine Mountain for 10,000 years. He thought that those skills would probably be forgotten. After all, it had been 10,000 years. There was nothing else in his mind except for comprehending the origin of life. However, he did not expect that he was still so skilled. The experience accumulated in my previous life is still too much. Wang Feng sighed. After so many years of not being intimate with a girl, I'm still so skilled. Oh no, Wang Feng did not remember only being intimate with a few girls. There was no such thing in his previous life. Wang Feng was sure of this. It was just that in the Douluo world, with my terrible performance and such skilled skills, could it be that I've been intimate with all of them? Especially that Bibidan, when I hugged her, not only did she not resist, her body was even slightly trembling. Wang Feng was experienced. As he experimented with Zhu Zhuqing one by one, he found that he was very skilled in the operation. I thought I was a beginner. I just have a few hundred G's theoretical experience. Wang Feng glanced at Zhu Zhuqing beside him. She was like a lotus flower emerging from the water. Her beautiful cheeks were flushed. She snuggled in his arms, but she had already fainted from exhaustion. I didn't expect her to be so good in actual combat. Wang Feng looked at the roof as if he could see the starry sky. Zhuqing is too much. She is a god, but her body is not good. But since it's your first time, I can understand. He coughed a few times. A god shouldn't be exhausted by a dozen or so actions in a few hours. There must be other reasons. Right, it's divine power. Wang Feng pondered. Gods are unable to absorb dark demonic qi. After coming to the dark demonic world, their god power has been invisibly depleted, and they are unable to replenish it. She had used the origin of her divine ring to change everyone's forms, which required a lot of divine power. This will consume too much of my divine power, and I won't have enough divine power. Wang Feng also had divine power in his body. But Wang Feng was different. Firstly, he had the elemental origin. The dark devil world could absorb the same amount into the body and convert it into divine power. Secondly, there was the devouring origin. Therefore, he was not worried about running out of energy. Unless he used the God-forbidden space, that would consume too much energy. Zhuqing is suffering from excessive consumption of divine power. Coupled with this battle, it seems that his body is tired. Wang Feng understood. This girl, why didn't she say it just now? Thinking of this, Wang Feng felt pity for her. However, after thinking about it, Zhu Qing's godly power was empty. Just now. I should have filled her up to the brim, right? The next day. As expected, Zhu Qing woke up with a face full of vigor. I haven't rested like this in a long time. Ever since I fled, I've been on tenterhooks every day. Zhu Qing looked at the sky outside the courtyard with a refreshed expression. She stretched lazily, revealing a perfect and moving figure. Her eyes seemed to be glowing. The aura on her body was erratic, like a gentle breeze, making it hard to grasp. She stood here, but it seemed like she was standing in any position. This was the symbol of her wind god aura. That's not it. Wang Feng, who was behind her, admired Zhu Qing's figure. He said with a serious expression, I didn't know before, but in your state yesterday, your divine power was almost exhausted. You didn't even have much left to support your body. Fortunately, your husband helped you fill it up. Hearing this, Zhu Qing's refreshed face turned red. Why are you blushing? I said I helped you fill it up. Wang Feng looked at her with a surprised expression. Scoundrel! Zhu Qing glared at him. Of course, she knew how he helped her replenish her divine power. Wang Feng's physique was astonishing. His blood essence contained powerful energy. Furthermore, his divine power was much stronger than the divine power cultivated by gods. You are now filled with divine power. Even if you return to the divine world and encounter an emergency, you should be able to safely avoid it. Wang Feng thought for a moment. Next, I'll accompany you for a few days and help you replenish your divine power. After all, there's still some time before we reach Yunhai Sea from Azure Sun Fiend region. Say more. Zhu Qing said shyly. Wang Feng shook his head helplessly. In the next few days, Wang Feng bade farewell to demonic goddess Qingluo and left Azure Sun Fiend region. He sent Zhu Qing and company to Yunhai Sea. During this period, he naturally did not help Zhu Qing replenish her divine power. They did not encounter any problems during this journey. However, these were the most comfortable days Wang Feng had in the tenebrous demon world. They were in love and it was like a honeymoon. Only when they entered the desolate Sea Fiend region did they encounter some problems. A few days had passed since Wang Feng flooded the three armies. These few days, the entire tenebrous demon world was stirred. The Azure Sun Fiend region attracted the attention of almost all the factions in the other 8 regions. From the moment the Heaven Styx River disappeared until it reappeared, it flooded the 3 armies. It repelled 3 fiend gods. 2 of them were close to death. 1 fiend god disappeared. Wang Feng's name as a human expert shocked the tenebrous demon world even more than fiend god Dai. As for fiend god Abyss Ocean, as fiend god Desolate Seas Fiend region, the 3 armies retreated and the morale of the fiend region plummeted. One had to know that the soul demon warriors in the 3 armies were formed by fiend god Desolate Sea using the elites of various factions in the fiend region. They were an army that symbolized the unification of all the factions in the fiend region. Naturally, the fiend god's army fleet was not simple. However, they did not expect Wang Feng to use the Heaven Styx River to drown them. Although they were not completely destroyed, they lost a large portion of their forces. Furthermore, the soul demon warriors drowned in the Heaven Styx River could not even reincarnate. It was difficult to come out after entering the Heaven Styx River. They did not even have the chance to search for the well of samsara to reincarnate. However, the Heaven Styx River was now in Wang Feng's hands. Even if he swaggered into the Abyss Sea Fiend region, no faction would dare to attack him. In addition, fiend god Desolate Sea had disappeared without a trace. Without the fiend god, the fiend region had no master. Who would dare to act recklessly? At this time, in Yunhai Sea. These days, many of the former subordinates of the Imperial Demon Army, led by Ba Xia, had experienced a roller coaster ride. They had probably never thought that their Daimyo Supreme God, who had returned, would have such powerful strength. One had to know that from the beginning, their human expert Wang Feng was their fiend god Dai in disguise. In other words, all of this was done by their lord. First, he destroyed the fiend gods with old grudges. Then, he collected the Heaven Styx River and flooded the three armies. Among the three fiend gods, 2 were half dead and 1 disappeared. This strength was simply unimaginable. End of this chapter. Chapter 1542. Cloud Sea Pass. Demon Monarch Basya stood in a room with his hands behind his back. Inside the room, a bright ball of light was floating. Many images were reflected around the ball of light. In the images, there were many creatures of different sizes and races recorded. There are a total of 3,600 godseed. According to the Lord's request, I used the wormhole passage connected to the desolate sea demon region to secretly send you to various planes to search for countless living beings. We found billions of demon seeds that can become soul demons. Among these billions of demon seeds, after a series of screening, only 3,600 of them are confirmed to have the potential to become a demon god. Demon Monarch Fu he spoke with confidence. His aura was heavy, and there seemed to be dense demonic light as he breathed. The holy demon ring was faintly visible, showing his extraordinary strength. More than 3,600? Demon Monarch Basya frowned and looked. So many? In the dark demon world, only ancient demons have the potential to become a demon god. Wait, these 3,600 demon seeds, what is the probability of them becoming a demon god? About 1 in 100,000. Demon Monarch Fu He's expression did not change. Demon Monarch Basya didn't know what to say. He sighed and said, His Honor asked you to find seeds with potential. According to your probability, you have to find at least 100,000 such seeds before one of them can truly become a demon god. I knew it. How can those small planes have the potential to become a demon god? Actually, it's not certain. Demon Monarch Fu he did not feel that there was a problem. Those low-level worlds have a lower level of life and are inherently lacking. However, they have a lot of numbers. There are bound to be a few geniuses. Nurture these geniuses. As long as there is no lack of resources, they should have enough potential to cultivate to a higher level. That makes sense. Demon Monarch Basya pondered for a moment. After all, there were too many worlds. There were bound to be a few different ones. Moreover, these demon seeds are very special. Demon Monarch Fu he continued, most of them are life forms that were chosen by that world. They are people who are blessed by the world's providence. They usually hide huge secrets and shoulder huge responsibilities. Providence is very rare in this kind of small world. It is favored by the heavenly Tao. Take our dark demon world as an example. The level of the world is too high. If a demon god is at the top, there is no such thing as providence. Unless the fiend celestials weaved their own luck and bestowed it to their subordinate, so that they can enjoy great treatment and benefits in other worlds. In the future, if these demonic seeds are carefully nurtured, they will definitely become extremely important chess pieces in the Supreme One's hands. Devil Monarch Fu he said confidently. This guy was really talented. Demon Monarch Tyrannical Summer sighed. Compared to the soul demons of the older generation, he was indeed smarter. You're very considerate. Demon Monarch Basya praised. I hope that your honor will be satisfied. Demon Monarch Fu he replied modestly, moreover, with your honor's current reputation, oh wait, that human expert's reputation is even more resounding than demon god Dai's in the past. It can be said that your honor has completely surpassed your past self. After disappearing for tens of thousands of years, he still managed to return as a legend. At this point, Devil Monarch Fu he appeared rather excited. When I think of this, my heart surges. Enough, his honor is not here. Your flattery is useless, Demon Monarch Basya said with some amusement. Cough, cough. I'm telling the truth. Devil Monarch Fu he nodded and said, however, I have a premonition that your honor will come looking for me. Demon Monarch Basya was slightly taken aback. Why? His honor should have something more important right now, right? Why would he come looking for Devil Monarch Fu he? The Heaven Styx River disappeared, and 2 of the 3 demon gods in the Soul Demon Sacred City died. Only one of them is left. Devil Monarch Fu he pondered for a moment and said, Do you know why those 3 demon gods besieged the Soul Demon Sacred City? With the disappearance of the Heaven Styx River, the Soul Demon Sacred City lost its biggest natural barrier. The other 3 demon realms are eyeing the Soul Demon Sacred City covetously. Naturally, they will make a move on the Soul Demon Sacred City. Could also be for other reasons. Moreover, the Azure Sun Demon Realm has a high degree of exploitation of wormholes. They have many channels to the Greater Thousand Worlds, and Demon God Qing Luo is one of the best. Perhaps these demon gods also want to obtain these channels and use them to obtain more resources or something like that? Read it. Demon Monarch Basya answered with his own guess. As for that strand of demonic qi, not all the demon monarchs knew about it. Even the old subordinates of the Demon Emperor army didn't know about it. As for the deeds and legends of that demon ancestor, it was too long ago. For example, the origin of the Heaven Styx River. Other than the demon gods, almost no other soul demons knew about it. What you said makes some sense. However, it's not important. Devil Monarch Fu he said, the important thing is that only one demon god Huang Hai survived the battle in the Soul Demon Sacred City. Do you think his honor will let him go so easily? As far as I know, the demon god Huang Hai should be hiding some secrets. I relied on his honor's orders and secretly made a deal with God King Tang San of the Douluo Divine World to borrow the resources of the Divine World to cultivate this batch of demon seed. At the same time, I used the resources of the Divine World to gain the trust of the demon god Huang Hai. Demon Monarch Basya knew about this. The battle of the Dark Demon Realm had ended. That God King Origin Tribulation appeared in the Divine World, and Demon Master Shang retreated in defeat. The Dark Demon Realm didn't dare to enter the Divine World easily. The situation was a blur. Whoever had the best access to the resources and information of the Divine World would naturally be valued by the demon god. His honor will definitely not let this demon god Huang Hai go. He will come to find me to investigate the whereabouts of the demon god Huang Hai. Devil Monarch Fu he deduced. Just as he finished speaking, a group of soul demon warriors hurried in and reported, His honor is here. Demon Monarch, his honor is here. Hearing this, Demon Monarch Basya glanced at Devil Monarch Fu he. Not bad. Then do you know the whereabouts of the demon god Huang Hai? Demon Monarch Basya asked. Most of the old subordinates of the Demon Emperor army had been sent out of Yunhai Pass to do other things. Only a few demon monarchs stayed behind. On one hand, they were there to watch Demon Monarch Fu he, and on the other hand, they were there to cooperate with him. I have some speculations, but I don't know if I can help his honor. Demon Monarch Fu he thought for a few seconds and said, Let's go and meet his honor first. With that, he walked in with Demon Monarch Basya. They arrived at the vast sky cloud platform outside Yunhai Pass. When we came here last time, we were put on the God Forbidding Ring. Now that we're here again, we can leave this damned place openly. There are even a few demon gods left. This is really satisfying. On the platform, Oscar and the others looked at the sky cloud platform and the tiny cracks in the light circle in the sky. Chapter 1543. What a pity, those god kings. Oscar whispered. Those god kings were the first to be sent to the central demon area. They were probably sent to the clear sky palace. Once inside, unlike us, there's almost no chance for him to escape. Wang Feng knew that Oscar was talking about the 4 god kings who participated in the War of the Gods. The War of the Gods in the Void Element region sent out 4 god kings because the 2 sides were not equal. Only Tang San stayed to guard King City. Unfortunately, even the 4 god kings could not stop demon god Shang's army. Since he was a god king, 2 demon gods were sent to escort him from the Void Element region to the Clear Sky Palace. I fought with God King of Destruction back then. I didn't expect him to be captured. Wang Feng guessed that other demon gods must have participated in the War of the Gods. It was not just the Imperial Demon Army led by demon god Shang. Otherwise, God King of Destruction might have been able to defeat him in the Void Element region. However, it would be extremely difficult to capture him. Back then, the Yama Master had destroyed the Divine World's royal city's protective barrier with a single palm strike and severely injured Tang San. If Yen Lord did not take part in the War of the Gods, several demon gods would have been sent. They might not be the peak demon gods who could kill gods. However, if it's the Clear Sky Palace, those god kings should not be in danger, right? Wang Feng wondered. Along the way, he had been beating around the bush. Even if he did not have the memory of that Bibidon. But he also knew about her background. She came from the realm of the gods and was a peak level 1 god who was comparable to a god king. Moreover, according to Zhu Zhuqing, she came to the dark demon realm a long time ago. Qian Rinxue and his precious disciple disappeared in the realm of the gods. She felt very lonely there. Fortunately, Rongrong and I were there to fight with her. Otherwise, she would have disappeared too. When she found out about the dark demon realm, she left the realm of the gods in advance to find Qian Rinxue and his precious disciple. In other words, as a god of the god realm, she was also known as the successor of the Yama Lord and the current leader of the Clear Sky Palace. They shouldn't make things difficult for the god kings of the god realm. God kings were closely related to the god realm. That was because the 5 great divine kings of the divine realm were the symbols of the natural order. Even if they died, they would only be able to die after inheriting the deity position. Otherwise, the laws of the god world would definitely collapse. It would be troublesome then. Later, I will ask the person in charge of Yunhai Pass to open the wormhole passage to Xianyuan Sky Domain. Then, you can return to the God world. Wang Feng looked at everyone and said, the void dimension might be a bit dangerous, but with your strength, you should be able to deal with it. At this moment, Demon Monarch Fu He and Demon Monarch Basya hurried over. Both of them looked very excited. When they saw Wang Feng, they knelt down and said in an extremely respectful tone, Your Honor, you're back? Wang Feng waved his hand. Let's open up the passageway so that they can return to the God realm. By the way, Basya, how's the thing I asked you to do in the void element space domain? Basya stood up and replied, Your Honor, Li Shan and his brothers have swept through the forbidden areas in the void element space domain, as well as the miscellaneous wormholes and space cracks. They have gained a lot. However, we also lost a small number of our men. I know. Wang Feng nodded slightly. Later, you can tell me in detail what you gained in the void element space domain. Before leaving, Wang Feng ordered the old men of the Imperial Demon Army to gather at Yunhai Pass. He gave them a very important and dangerous task, which was to explore the void element space domain. The void element space domain was the passage between the God world and the dark demon realm. It could be said that it was a very important place. If there was an accident in this place, soaring Chinese, Wang Feng might not even have a way to return to the God world, not to mention returning to the Douluo world. Moreover, the void element space domain gave Wang Feng a vague feeling that there were many hidden stories. However, Wang Feng didn't have the time, so he let these old men explore. However, that place was more dangerous. With the strength of these old men, they might lose more than a small number of their men. Of course, this was all within Wang Feng's expectations. The passage has been opened. The void element space domain has just ended, so it's a bit chaotic there. However, because I've made a deal with the god King Tang-san, a safe route has been opened up for the time being. Demon Monarch Fu he glanced at Oscar and the others, and knew that these were the gods of the god world. He had seen them when they were escorted back. Although he knew, he didn't ask why the Lord wanted to save the gods of the god world. This wasn't important. The dark demon world and the god world were enemies. However, Demon Monarch Fu he wasn't. The demon god had a close relationship with the god world. Demon Monarch Fu he moved quickly. Soon, the passage was open. The halo in the air flickered with strange colors. After passing through the light gate, they arrived at the void element space domain. My journey in the dark demon world ends here. Ma Hongjun glanced at the big world behind Yunhai Pass. This broken world is really not a place for us gods to stay. However, I can't deny that it's a good place. The others all had nostalgic expressions on their faces. Only Zhu Zhuqing looked on silently. She didn't like this place. The dark demon world was too messy and chaotic. It was only suitable for fighting. However, it was also because of this that an even stronger god-slaying system was born. Demon gods were already stronger than god kings. Bibidan should like this place very much. With her origin, she should be like a fish in water in a place like this. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head. When she thought of this, she looked at Wang Feng beside her and said, "You have more important things to do in the dark demon world. If you don't succeed, you should return to the god world. If you succeed, don't bring her back, otherwise the god world will never have peace again." Zhu Zhuqing snorted heavily towards the end. "This." Wang Feng smiled and whispered in her ear, "But you alone can't handle the replenishment of my godly power." Zhu Zhuqing's cheeks reddened as she listened. Her divine power had been replenished to the brim along the way. She pursed her lips and said, "But there's still Rongrong." After saying that, she bit her lip and whispered in Wang Feng's ear, "In any case, don't bring her back to the god world. Rongrong and I can let you replenish your godly power together." Her voice became softer and softer as she spoke. Replenish godly power together? Wang Feng was shocked. This was a wonderful thing. "Don't worry, I definitely won't bring her back to the god world," Wang Feng said solemnly. "You and Rongrong can just wait for me to return and replenish your godly power together." Zhu Zhuqing hammered Wang Feng and pecked him on the cheek. Then, she turned around and walked into the wormhole with Oscar and the others. Wang Fengxin watched them leave happily. He felt a bit melancholy, but his heart was filled with anticipation. "Looks like I have to quickly settle the matter here and return to the god world," Wang Feng muttered to himself. "I don't really mind replenishing my godly power together. I just miss Rongrong a bit." Then, Wang Feng looked at Demon Monarch Fu He and asked. Chapter 1544. Demon Sovereign Fu. He did not answer immediately. He seemed to be deep in thought. After a while, he said slowly, "My lord, do you still remember the 3 ancient demon patriarchs from the Xiling family?" Wang Feng was slightly taken aback. He remembered. He still remembered. The 3 patriarchs were left behind by Fiend Celestial Dai when Wang Feng first entered Yunhai Sea. The Xiling family and the ancient demon family. The 3 patriarchs were indebted to Fiend Celestial Dai. When Wang Feng returned as Fiend Celestial Dai, they came to fulfill their promise to become soul servants. The Yu siblings from the treasure-gathering Rock Chamber of Commerce also came at that time. Later, when Wang Feng left Yunhai Sea for Qingyang Fiend region, they returned to their family and waited for Wang Feng's orders. However, the situation changed so quickly that Wang Feng did not have time to contact them. Now that Demon Sovereign Fu He mentioned it, was it related to Demon Sovereign Huang Hai? After I learned that the Soul Demon Sacred City flooded the 3 armies, I guessed that my lord would come to me to ask about Fiend Celestial Huang Hai. Demon Sovereign Fu He said firmly, At that time, I successfully became Fiend Celestial Huang Hai's confidant. However, even to his confidants, Fiend Celestial Huang Hai still hid many things. None of his confidants should know about his whereabouts. How are you so sure? Wang Feng asked with a frown. Because there is no Fiend Celestial in the Huanghai Fiend region. Without a master, the Huanghai Fiend region is in chaos. Many ancient demon family clans and factions have split up. Demon Sovereign Fu he looked ahead. It might not be obvious on the surface, but there are already undercurrents. Even my Yunhai Sea has been visited by several core members of the ancient family clans. In such a chaotic situation, none of his confidants stepped forward because Fiend Celestial Huang Hai did not tell us about it. If one of his confidants knows about Fiend Celestial Huang Hai's whereabouts and can provide proof, the undercurrents in the Huang Hai Fiend region would not be so chaotic. It made sense. However, if that was the case, it would be difficult to find Fiend Celestial Huang Hai's whereabouts. As Qing Luo said, Fiend Celestial Huang Hai would not enter any world through wormholes. However, as long as he hid in the Dark Fiend world, it would not be difficult for him to hide. Unless he broke through and formed a phenomenon. But by then, it would mean that the demonic god of Desolate Sea had already surpassed the demonic god realm. That would be even worse. Then what do you mean by the three ancestors of the Xiling family? Wang Feng asked. Could it be that they have news of Desolate Sea? The Xiling family was one of the few ancient devil families in the Huanghai demon realm. The ancient devil clan was something that even the demon god would have to consider carefully. Those three old ancestors were at the pinnacle of the Fiend Master realm, only a step away from the Fiend God realm. Against a demon god who did not have the exclusive ability to slay a demon god, he had the power to fight. Previously, because of the Nine Worlds Codex in the Dark Devil world, the demon god was not allowed to attack the ancient devil clan. The Desolate Sea Fiend Celestial naturally could not wipe out the entire ancient fiend family in his own fiend domain. Even if their bodies were in the abyssal ocean, their hearts were in the Emperor. But now that Lord Yen wasn't in the Clear Sky Palace, the Nine Realms Codex was nothing more than a book to the Nine Realms demon gods. Those demon monarchs and demon masters would still abide by it. However, the Fiend Celestial would not abide by it. Otherwise, demon god Desolate Sea would not have waged war against the Azure Sun Devil region. Very likely, Demon Lord Fuha said in a low voice. Wang Feng thought for a second or two and said slowly, could it be that the Xiling family has discovered a new wormhole? That's right. Demon Lord Fuha felt that his supremacy was indeed very intelligent. He had only mentioned it, but his supremacy had already guessed it. If Demon God Desolate Sea wants to disappear, then going to other worlds is the best choice, Demon Lord Fuha said. All the impulses in the Abyss Sea Devil region are recorded in the God-slaying terminal in the Central Demon Realm's Clear Sky Palace. As long as he enters any of the recorded impulses, the terminal will sense it. He ignored the Nine Worlds Codex and started a war. The Clear Sky Palace will not let him go. The other two demon gods are already half dead. He can't escape. Only those newly discovered powerful wormholes that have not been recorded by the Clear Sky Palace will be chosen by demon god Desolate Sea to hide himself. A while ago, the three ancestors of the Xiling family sent a message to Demon Lord Basya, saying that they have discovered a wormhole and intend to offer it to his supremacy. Basya, do you still remember this? Demon Lord Fuha looked at Basya. Demon Lord Basya nodded and said, yes. The three ancestors have been in contact with the old subordinates of the Imperial Demon Army. They lost contact with his supremacy because it was not easy for them to contact you. In order to lure the Imperial Fiend Celestial into another wormhole, Wang Feng had appeared later. The old subordinates of the Imperial Demon Army did not know his specific location or news. If that's the case, the Xiling family is in danger. Wang Feng's eyes darkened. After the news of the three armies being drowned came, I thought it through and immediately sent my confidant to the Zi-Ling family to send a message, Demon Lord Fuha said. They should have retreated safely by now. This guy is smart. Wang Feng glanced at Demon Lord Fuha. He did not expect him to be a genius. Where is he? Help me contact the three ancestors. I need to confirm it. Wang Feng pondered. Confirming it would mean that he had detailed information about Demon God Desolate Sea. He only needed to bring Demon God Desolate Sea's trail to the Clear Sky Palace. As for capturing him, to be honest, this was not his problem. The Clear Sky Palace was the strongest force founded by the Yama Lord. They might have ways to deal with a demon god who had the exclusive ability to kill gods. The Purple Ing Mountain of the Huanghai Demon Realm's Tianyun continent is where the Zi-Ling family is located. The Purple Ing Mountain of the Tianyun continent. The Huanghai Demon Realm was not the largest of the 9 demon realms. It was divided into 5 continents. The Tianyun continent was only one of them. The Purple Ing Mountain was one of the most prominent regions in the Tianyun continent. The sacred mountain of the ancient demon clan was 36,000 feet tall. There was an excellent dark demon spirit vein underground, and the surrounding dark demon chi was very dense. The sacred mountain stretched for tens of thousands of meters. It was surrounded by mountains. The Purple Ing city of the Zi-Ling family was located here. As one of the 5 ancient demon clans of the Huanghai demon realm, it was the strongest and oldest ancient demon clan. The 3 ancestors of the Zi-Ling family were not only famous in the Tianyun continent, but also in the entire Huanghai demon realm and even the 9 demon realms. However, the towering Ziying sacred mountain had been split into 2. It was as if a hole had been cut open. The Purple Ing city surrounded by mountains was also devoid of life. However, there was not a single soul demon corpse to be seen. There were not many demon warships in the sky of the Purple Ing city's harbor either. However, a large, luxurious demon warship hovered above the Purple Ing city. In a cabin of the demon warship, Yu Xiaoxiao scanned the silhouette of the Purple Ing city on the screen. The 3 ancestors of the Zi-Ling family retreated fast enough. How did they know that Demon God Desolate Sea would come here? There's not a single soul demon in the Purple Ing city. It's clear that they've retreated. Chapter 1545. Above the cabin, there was a floating throne. The figure on the throne had his back to Yu Xiaoxiao. Yu Bladestone was already in the cabin. Looking down at Purple Ing city, he said slowly, "Someone must have informed them beforehand." Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Bladestone exchanged a look. "How did you know that demon god Huang Hai would escape here?" Yuren Xian suddenly asked. "Also, I have a question. Which human expert in the Soul Demon Sacred City flooded the 3 armies, and the 3 demon gods fought with Qing Luo and that human expert? Oh no, with demon god Dai. Logically speaking, the 3 demon gods who have the exclusive god slayer skill should have no problem dealing with Dai and Qing Luo. How did the other 2 get half killed? Back then, Clear Sky Palace only sent that heavenly demon sovereign. Even so, they couldn't have half killed 2 demon gods, right?" The figure on the throne stretched out his hand and shook it a few times. "Your question is too simple," the figure said casually. "It's obvious that demon god Huang Hai obtained the legendary demonic qi hidden at the bottom of Tianming River and wanted to use it to get rid of his 2 allies. There's a 99% chance that he stabbed the 2 demon gods in the back at the critical moment of the battle. Then, he quickly escaped to save his own skin." Hearing this, the Yu sisters were enlightened. "I see. But now that the Zi-Ling family has disappeared, we're not sure if demon god Huang Hai came here or if he entered the wormhole of the Zi-Ling family," Yu Xiaoxiao said. Yu Xiaoxiao pondered and said, "I feel that Di should be coming soon. He won't let demon god Huang Hai go so easily. That demonic qi is coveted by all demon god." "Don't worry. At this time," the figure said slowly, "Huang Hai isn't here. Even if Dai comes, He might fall into Huang Hai's trap. Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Bladestone were shocked. But Huang Hai only has one wormhole in the Xiling family, which was discovered recently. As long as he enters the other wormholes, he will be discovered by Clear Sky Palace's Godslayer terminal. Even if he escapes to the wormhole, Clear Sky Palace will be able to hunt him down immediately. The demon-slaying army of the Clear Sky Palace is no joke. Although the Yama Lord has left the Clear Sky Palace, the heavenly demon Venerable who inherited the Yama Lord's position has enough authority to mobilize the demon-slaying army. Yu Xiaoxiao's voice was tinged with fear. He seemed to have a bone-deep fear of the Demon Crusade army. Huang Hai is a sly old fox. The figure on the throne sneered. You can tell from the way he planned this. This matter had caused a huge commotion, but who would benefit in the end? It was his desolate sea. As long as he obtained that wisp of devil chi, he would be the biggest winner. That human expert had obtained the Heaven Styx River, so drowning his devil army was nothing. He also borrowed Di Yi and Qing Luo's hands to get rid of those two devil gods. If he's not the winner, then who is? Such a cunning fellow, do you think he would expose himself so easily? You mean, he didn't come here? That's not right. Didn't we sense the fluctuations of the gods slaying and the lingering aura of the devil god's attack? He's been here. He's also attacked. The figure pointed in the direction of the broken purple Ing mountain and said indifferently, Look, that's the mark he left for us. Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Renxin stared at the broken purple Ing mountain. They had indeed sensed the aura of the devil god Huang Hai from the broken mountain, so they were certain that the devil god Huang Hai had come to the Xiling clan. He left this mark to mislead the devil gods searching for him. He went to the wormhole the Xiling clan discovered, the figure on the throne continued. The wormhole of the Xiling clan may have appeared at an ingenious time, but don't forget that the Xiling clan is a fan of Di Yi. A sly old fox like Huang Hai wouldn't have entered the wormhole directly. He left these marks to mislead the devil god. Perhaps he even went to the wormhole and tampered with it. But there's no other place for him to hide, right? Yu Xiaoxiao pondered. If he went to other devil realms, the devil gods there wouldn't treat him well. If he hid in the dark devil realm, he might not be discovered immediately, but with the Clear Sky Palace's methods, he'll be found sooner or later. However, the figure on the throne only smiled. No, there's a place where the Clear Sky Palace can never find. No devil god can find it. I'm guessing that with the personality of that sly old fox, Huang Hai, he's most likely gone there. Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Renxin glanced at each other. They were confused. Then should we give Dai a warning? Yu Xiaoxiao asked. The figure on the throne was silent for a moment before shaking his head. There's no need. He returned with an abundance of power. Now, he's gained the favor of the Crimson Divine Skyfox and obtained an even more powerful Universe Saint weapon. It'll be good to let him suffer a few more times. It's strange. The Crimson Divine Skyfox is a Universe Saint weapon. It was left behind in the Dark Devil Realm. Di Yi was at that time, but the Crimson Divine Skyfox didn't fancy anyone in the Dark Devil Realm, not even Yama Lord. Now, it's interested in this returned Di Yi. It really makes me feel uncomfortable. That human great being, Wang Feng, is extremely handsome, the kind that's earth-shattering. Yu Xiaoxiao suddenly said, perhaps the Crimson Deity Sky Fox felt that the other party's appearance suited its taste. Ever since I heard you mention the Crimson Divine Sky Fox, I've been searching for some ancient records of the universe. I heard that the Skyfox race values looks more. And it's a natural appearance, not one that's changed through various secret techniques. Nonsense. The figure snorted and retorted, which was rare. Speaking of which, Yama Lord has the looks of a saint demon. The Crimson Divine Skyfox should have chosen Yama Lord long ago. A returned Di Yi shouldn't have been chosen. That's probably because you haven't seen this Wang Feng before, Yuren Xian answered carefully. Stop talking. That figure waved his hand impatiently. Let's leave this place first. Regardless of whether this die stumbles here or not, if he has the ability, he will come to you guys for that exclusive set of god slaying. Get ready and give him the exclusive set of god slaying. However, whether he can accept it or not will depend on his fortune. Yes. The figure disappeared into the distance. The demonic ship disappeared into the Purple Ing Mountains. Not long after. At this moment, Wang Feng had appeared at the entrance of the Purple Ing Mountains. I can sense the aura of a demon god before it even reaches the Purple Ing Mountains. Wang Feng looked at the mountains in the distance and closed his eyes. He was very familiar with the aura of a demon god. In particular, the aura of the demon god of Desolate Sea. After all, they had fought before. It looks like the demon god of Desolate Sea must have come here. Next, we just need to find that wormhole. Basya, contact the 3 patriarchs. See them and ask them about the situation. Chapter 1546. The dark demonic chi is so dense that it's an excellent place for Solfians. Wang Feng looked at the mountain range in the distance. The tallest mountain in the center was clearly the Purple Ing Mountain, but it was cracked. It was there that he sensed the aura of a demon god. The Desolate Sea demon god. Once I find that wormhole, I can report to the Pure Sky Palace. I'll leave the matter of the Desolate Sea demon god to the Pure Sky Palace. Wang Feng pondered. Wang Feng didn't covet the demonic chi on the Desolate Sea demon god. Moreover, Wang Feng had a feeling. Even if he obtained the demonic chi, he might not be able to use it. Master, I've contacted the 3 ancestors. Please follow me. At this moment, Basya hovered in the air and said respectfully, because the demon god of Desolate Sea came to the Purple Ing Mountain, the 3 ancestors received news from Fu He and left the city in advance. They've built a small city at the end of the mountain range as a place to rest. Wang Feng nodded and followed Basya as they flew along the mountain range. Although the dark demonic chi in this mountain range is abundant, there aren't many resources here, Wang Feng sighed. Moreover, most of the resources are of low quality. The only thing special about it was that the dark demonic chi was extremely dense. Theoretically speaking, the dark demonic chi could nourish many resources, such as all kinds of spiritual herbs, rare minerals, and so on. The denser the dark demonic chi, the more resources there would be. The Purple Ing Mountain was the sacred mountain that the ancient demon clan relied on. Although the dark demonic chi was dense, the resources here were extremely scarce. Most of them have been extracted. Basya shook his head. However, the resources for us Solfians is still acceptable, but the resources used for Godslayer are astronomical. The Purple Ling clan controls 26 wormholes. They rely on the resources of another world connected to these wormholes to support the younger generation of the clan to become Godslayers. Even the ancient demon clan can only rely on luck if they want to change their generation. Wang Feng nodded. He was aware of that. In truth, although the dark demon realm was larger than the god realm, it wasn't by much. However, the difference in population and cultivation paths was quite large. There were many experts in the dark demon realm, and they wantonly consumed the resources of the 9 regions. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many experts. The god realm, on the other hand, had a lot of resources, and this didn't include the other planes affiliated to the god realm. Furthermore, the god realm's management of their descendants was extremely poor. Look at the gods of Oscar's generation. Over the past few decades, there had not been many descendants. With this rate of reproduction, it would be strange if the god realm could become strong. As for the dark demon world, they had the most advanced demon seed reproduction technology. They could breed a large number of descendants and select and cultivate them. In a situation where there was no shortage of resources, the number of experts would naturally increase. The Dark Devil Realm's devil cause reproduction technique only required the blood essence of both sexes to create offspring. It was extremely convenient. Of course, this kind of technology might be weaker than the offspring born from the mother's womb, but there was a huge advantage in terms of quantity, and it could be supplemented through cultivation. As time passed, there wouldn't be any difference. Moreover, there was another outstanding aspect. Not needing to be nurtured by the mother meant that the mother would not have a period of weakness. For example, the gods of the god realm would enter a period of weakness once their mother gave birth to their offspring. The weaker it was, the more obvious it became. Xiao Wu was a clear example of this. Without this period of weakness, it meant that the combat strength of these experts of the dark demon world would be at a very average level, and there would be no gap to be found. Wang Feng had been in the dark demon world for a long time, and he was very familiar with the gap between the god realm and the dark demon world. Not long after, Demon Lord Xia brought Wang Feng to their destination. The three patriarchs of Purple Chestnut, who had not been seen for a long time, were looking forward to it. Seeing the three patriarchs again, Wang Feng felt that his sense of beauty might have been pulled back by Zhu Zhuqing and the others. He felt that these three patriarchs were just SOSO, the soul demons with their unique physiques were quite different from humans. Like Qing Luo, who could transform into a human, there were still a few. If these three patriarchs were placed among the soul demons, they would probably be peerless beauties. But in Wang Feng's eyes, with a human's sense of beauty, they were passable. Ancient demons had bronze skin or reddish-gold skin. Their physique was the most perfect form, and it was a continuation of the ancient demons of the ancient times. Just by looking, they were definitely very good. Purple Chestnut Singing Star, Purple Chestnut Shuyu, and Purple Chestnut Xianhui. The eldest was Ziling Xianhui, and the youngest was Ziling Mingxing. My lord, why didn't you contact us? Seeing Wang Feng, Ziling Mingxing was both excited and worried. Ever since you left Yunhai Pass and entered the limitless demon domain of the Imperial Demon God, you didn't contact us. Later, we heard that you killed the Imperial Demon God's body, and we learned about you. You promised us to be your soul servant. How can soul servants not live and die with my lord? You were just perfunctory when you were in Yunhai Pass. As she spoke, Ziling Mingxing became more and more agitated. She wanted to be angry, but she didn't dare to, so her tone was hesitant. Soul servants, from a certain point of view, were naturally the demon god's trusted subordinate. My lord, you're here for the demon god Huang Hai, right? The eldest, Ziling Xianhui, glared at her younger sister and quickly said, after the incident at the Soul Demon Sacred City, we learned about it on the third day. Later, we received a secret message from Demon Lord Fu He, saying that the demon god Huang Hai would most likely come to the Purple Ing Mountain to look for the newly created wormhole. However, we originally planned to use our strength to keep him here. We didn't plan on retreating. But something happened later, and we had no choice but to retreat. As the eldest of the three, Ziling Xianhui not only had a dignified appearance, but her personality was also the same. She was over 2.5 meters tall, and her bronze-colored body made her skin glow beautifully even in the gloomy environment of the dark demon realm. It was dazzling. Her facial features were not very different from a human's, but no matter which part of her body, it had nothing to do with being small and exquisite. If Wang Feng transformed into a human's body, her arms might be thicker than his thighs. One could imagine, even Ziling Mingxing, the youngest, was like that. I've just returned. Even if you don't feel unfamiliar with me, you still have families. Wang Feng waved his hand at Ziling Mingxing. You can live and die with me, but you bear the responsibility of the ancient demon clan. Your clans have spent countless resources to nurture you up to this point. If you die with me, wouldn't it be a waste? I agreed to become soul servants because of the promise I made back then. You don't need to become a soul servant a second time to bind you. Besides, if you want to serve me well, you only need to be useful at crucial moments. For example, now. Wang Feng glanced at Ziling Mingxing. He didn't care if she understood him or not. He looked at Ling Xianhui and asked, "What happened?" End of chapter. Chapter 1547. The demon god of Desolate Sea easily split the purple Ing mountain in half before he even entered. His strength is a bit stronger than what we know. Ling Xianhui frowned. Even with the God Slayer technique, it's impossible for him to split the purple Ing mountain in half with a casual strike. Moreover, he didn't even use the God Slayer technique when he attacked. His strength seems to have increased by a lot. Xiling Xuanhui's words surprised Wang Fengxin. The Xiling clan was one of the 5 ancient demon clans in the Abyss Sea Fiend region. Who knew how long it had been? The 3 patriarchs probably knew the demon god of Desolate Sea's strength better than Wang Feng himself. They could sense that the demon god of Desolate Sea's strength had increased. That was incredible. A demon god's strength couldn't be increased just because he wanted to. Otherwise, the God Slayer wouldn't have appeared. Could it be that the demon god of Desolate Sea has already begun to absorb that strand of demonic qi? Wang Feng guessed. But isn't he afraid of problems? If he causes any phenomenon, the Pure Sky Palace will notice it immediately and track him down immediately. Now that the demon god of Desolate Sea's strength has increased, we don't want to be at the forefront. We immediately abandoned the Purple Ing Mountain and retreated here. We built a new city. Second sister Purple Ling Shuyu added. She pointed at the city behind her. Wang Feng glanced at it. This is a new city? Wang Feng glanced at the magnificent building that was hundreds of meters tall. It looked like an hourglass, like a landmark building. It was visually stunning. At the center of the link, there was a golden pearl floating in the air. It was very rare. And this was one of the buildings. The city wasn't big. It was dozens of times smaller than the Soul Demon Sacred City, but it was at least 10,000 square kilometers. The Dark Demon Realm's infrastructure is ridiculously high. They can easily build a city of this level. Wang Feng shook his head. Seeing Wang Feng shake his head, the 3 patriarchs thought that he thought the city wasn't good enough. They all lowered their heads in shame. This city has just been built. It's too shabby for someone as noble as you, Xiling Xianhui said in shame. Wang Feng coughed and said, "That's not my goal. After you retreated here, did the demon god of Desolate Sea enter the wormhole?" "He should have entered," Xiling Xianhui said hurriedly. "Because the wormhole is near the Ziying Sacred Mountain, we've concealed its presence." Demonic god Huang Hai disdained searching, so he split open the sacred mountain to find the wormhole. They want to escape to other worlds. If that was the case, was it certain that demonic god Huang Hai had entered the wormhole? Where is the wormhole? Take me to see it. By the way, have you explored the wormhole before? What's the situation? Wang Feng asked. It's a high-quality, undeveloped primitive world. Some weaker mortal beasts have just been born in it. However, the resources are extremely abundant. According to the wormhole evaluation regulations, if the search is completed, we should be able to gather all the materials needed to slay a 4th-generation god. Purple Water Chestnut hurriedly said, "Originally, I wanted to give it to your honor. At the very least, it would be able to create a 4th-generation Godslayer set. This kind of primitive world was very rare. Among the countless wormholes in the Dark Devil world, only 100 or so had been found. Furthermore, the regeneration rate of resources in this primitive world is very fast. It can be used continuously." Wang Feng understood. However, weren't these worlds just like leeks? They were harvested again and again. Fortunately, this kind of world hadn't given birth to highly intelligent life forms like humans. Otherwise, with these methods of the Dark Devil world, these natives wouldn't end well. The Dark Devil world wasn't as gentle as the God world. The God world was very gentle to its subordinate worlds. Could be seen in the Douluo world. Gods generally wouldn't plunder the resources of the Douluo world. For example, the immortal herbs obtained by Tang San previously, as well as some blessed lands and treasured lands, were also somewhat useful to gods. One had to know that the herbs in the ice fire Yin Yang well played a crucial role in Tang San and Oscar becoming god. Wang Feng could even say that without the immortal herbs to lay a foundation for them, it was almost impossible for them to become gods. Their aptitude wasn't good enough. Gods wouldn't take a fancy to them. The three ancestors told Wang Feng about what happened in the Huanghai demon realm these days and talked about everything in the dark devil world. They brought Wang Feng to the location of the wormhole. The location was right in the middle of the broken sacred mountain. It was in the shape of a spiral, and there were faint spatial restrictions set up around it, but they were all broken at this time. The spatial restrictions set up by us three sisters have been broken. That demon god Huanghai must have already entered. Ling Xianhui said in an affirmative tone. Wang Feng glanced at it. This wormhole was even bigger than the one he saw in the infinite demon realm. Just the shape of the external entrance was much bigger. The linked world was another treasure trove. Can the demon god close the wormhole? Wang Feng frowned slightly and asked. Everything seemed to be going too smoothly. Of course, but it will take some time. With the demon god's methods, this wormhole hasn't entered the records of the Clear Sky Palace. It can be closed within 3 days, Ling Xianhui said. What about the time? What's the flow of time on the other side of the wormhole? It's much slower than the Dark Devil world. A day in the Dark Devil world is about 10 days over there, Ling Xianhui said. At this time, Wang Feng looked at the three sisters and asked, with your senses, since the demon god Huanghai's strength has increased, if you fight, will you die? No, we'll just be heavily injured. The three sisters shook their heads. We can run, but the price is that the demon god Huanghai will definitely cause a huge commotion. Him splitting the purpling mountain is a warning to us. No, if I were the demon god Huanghai, I'd definitely wipe out your clan silently. At this moment, Wang Feng shook his head and said, otherwise it'll be too easy to expose myself. Moreover, he definitely can't do it, Wang Feng said sternly. The three sisters were stunned. The demon god Huanghai definitely won't let any soul demons know about his whereabouts. Wang Feng's eyes were deep. This means that the Clear Sky Palace is pursuing him. He knows that you have a wormhole that has just been discovered and has yet to be recorded. If he wants to enter the wormhole, he'll definitely wipe out your clan first. Then, he'll enter the wormhole without anyone knowing. He won't swagger here, split open the purpling mountain, and even warn you. Wang Feng seemed to see the demon god Huanghai, who had used him and Qing Luo as weapons in the Soul Demon Sacred City. That guy was very cunning. That's impossible. Ling Xianhui shook her head. It's impossible for the ancient devil clan and us three sisters to be destroyed so easily. Impossible? Wang Feng seemed to think of something. The demon god is not present in this vast demon domain. Once chaos erupts and your clan is destroyed in the chaos, who will know what that has to do with the demon god Huanghai? The three sisters were immediately stunned when they heard that. The demon god Huanghai who had followed them was stunned as well. At this moment, a soul demon warrior hurried over from afar and reported, Ancestor, something bad has happened. Chapter 1548. What are you doing in such a panic? Ling Xianhui frowned at the soul demon. What's the matter? 1,000 miles away from our new city, our patrolling warriors discovered the fleet of the other 4 ancient devil clans. Apart from that, there were also traces of more than a dozen soul demons from various major forces. They're all heading toward our city. Not only that, their vanguard should have had a battle with our patrolling warriors. The soul demon warrior immediately reported. Hearing this, the three sisters were stunned. What's the reason? Ling Xuanhui's expression darkened. After the news from the soul demon sacred city, and the disappearance of the demon god of desolation. Most of the factions in the Abyss Sea Fiend realm had tacitly agreed that the demon god of desolation could no longer rule the Fiend realm and become its master. Without the demon god of desolation, the Fiend realm was filled with undercurrents. It was only a matter of time before internal strife broke out. To put it bluntly, they all wanted to rise to the top. However, as one of the 5 ancient demon clans, the Xiling clan was the most powerful clan in the Abyss Sea Fiend realm. Ordinary factions would not be stupid enough to go against them. "It's for the wormhole," the Soul Demon answered in a trembling voice. "I don't know when the other clans found out about the wormhole that our clan obtained." The 3 sisters frowned again. Why would these opposing clans join forces just for the wormhole? The eldest sister was the first to react. Her expression was extremely gloomy. "Is this the demon god of desolation's plan? When did he set this up? He doesn't have the time." Clearly, the demon god of desolation was behind this. Otherwise, the other 4 ancient demon clans would not have joined forces for a mere wormhole. Not to mention the other factions. He wants to use these forces to wipe out the Xiling family through internal strife in the Devil's domain? Xiling Shuyu looked at Wang Feng. This way, he won't have to do anything. He won't have to expose himself and will disappear from the sight of countless soul demons. But the problem is that the demon god of desolation has already made his move. Wang Feng looked at the wormhole meaningfully. This demon god of desolation was interesting. Based on Wang Feng's speculation, if he disappeared into the infernal territory would naturally fall into internal strife. Then, he only needed to secretly send his confidants to add fuel to the fire and destroy the Xiling family. Then, he could quietly enter the wormhole without anyone knowing. The fact that the other ancient demon clans were attacking them was just as Wang Feng had predicted. However, if that was the case, why had the demon god of desolation come to the Purple Ing Mountain and split it open to find the wormhole and expose himself? Could it be that the demon god of Huang Hai was not behind the other ancient demon clan's attack on the Xiling clan? But who was that? And at such a crucial time? My guess is wrong? Could it be that the demon god of Desolate Sea was prepared for both sides? Moreover, this makes it even harder for me to determine if he has entered the wormhole or not. Wang Feng looked at the wormhole and frowned slightly. What was this Desolate Sea demonic god trying to do? Regardless, he had definitely been to the Purple Ing Mountain. A mere 4 ancient demon clans want to attack you? A strange glint flashed across Wang Feng's eyes. Soon after, he waved his hand and said, "Do they know that I am here? How dare they come?" Xiling Xianhui shook her head. "Basya, go and meet the 4 ancient demon clans," Wang Feng said casually. "Tell them that I am here. If they are not afraid of death, they can continue to attack the Purple Ing Mountain. You can use any name you want." "Understood." Basya nodded and looked at the Soul Demon Warrior. He said, "You, bring me to meet the ancient demon clans." The Soul Demon Warrior glanced at Xiling Xianhui before disappearing from sight with Basya. "With your reputation, these ancient demon clans should know what's good for them. How dare they attack us?" Xiling Xianhui said fiercely, "If we were in the Purple Ing City, even if there were more clans, they would not be able to attack us, let alone the 4 ancient demon clans. There are powerful magical machines in the Purple Ing City that are extremely lethal to soul demons below the demon god level. However, we can't take them away." Wang Feng remained silent. "My lord, you went to the Soul Demon Holy City. Did you become partners with demon god Green Radish?" Xiling Xianhui suddenly asked. Wang Feng was stunned by the question. "I did not," he said calmly. "Green Radish has been waiting for you for so many years. Now that she has become a demon god, she should be worthy of you, my lord, right?" Xiling Xianhui asked in confusion. "Back in the dark demon world, the 2 of you were a demon Dao couple. The Dai demon god she has been waiting for is the Dai demon god from tens of thousands of years ago." Wang Feng said meaningfully. However, I am no longer the Dai demon god from tens of thousands of years ago. The three sisters were stunned. My lord, have you changed? You do seem to have changed a lot. Ling Xianhui mumbled. Although it has changed, didn't it become stronger and better? Purple Chestnut Star was extremely perplexed. Demonic goddess Qingluo should logically be happier. You sound like you have already ended things between the two of you. I have been looking forward to seeing the two of you together for a long time. As she spoke, she looked into the distance with reverence. Wang Feng was speechless. Yes, they could not know that he was not the real Dai demon god. Wang Fengxin shook his head. Only Green Radish, who had a close relationship with Dai in the past, could sense it. And this was because she was a demon god. By the way, Wang Fengxin suddenly asked, I heard that you had a partner in Yunhai Pass? The same sex? Wang Feng suddenly remembered this. He couldn't help but feel curious. This was the same sex. Ling Xuanhui's expression was slightly reserved. She said softly, Yes. Why didn't I see her? Wang Feng asked. Then do you agree to let her become your sole servant? Ling Xianhui was a little nervous. She is my partner. Logically speaking, we should become your sole servant. She also has to become your sole servant, but she is not strong and does not have the qualifications. Wang Feng found it interesting. Partners of the same sex were like husband and wife. What would it be like? Just as he was about to say that he would bring her over for a look, at this moment, as time passed, Demon Monarch Basia's figure appeared. However, his expression did not seem to be good. What's wrong? These big families don't plan to leave? Wang Feng looked at Demon Monarch Basia's expression and knew that this matter was not successful. Interesting. That's right. Demon Monarch Basia's face was full of anger. I met the strongest of the 4 ancient demon families one by one. When they heard your name, not only did they want to retreat, but they also said that they would deal with you together. Wang Feng was stunned for a few seconds. Could it be that these ancient demon families are not well informed? Wang Feng was surprised. This made Wang Feng feel a little embarrassed. This was not scientific. Knowing that he had the Heaven Styx River, no matter how many soul demons came, what was the use of besieging him? Even the demon god's fleet was drowned. What was a mere ancient demon family? Could it be that they had a backer? But no matter how powerful their backer was, it was only at the level of demon god Huang Hai. They did not dare to say such a thing. Unless there were 3 more demon gods who had exclusive skills to kill gods. But don't be ridiculous. In the entire dark demon world, there were only 9 such demon gods. They were scattered in the 9 regions. Why would they come here for a mere wormhole? Wang Feng felt that something was not right. Could it be that these ancient demon families were not ordered by demon god Huang Hai? Instead, they came to Purple Ing Mountain directly and did not hesitate to expose their tracks to enter the wormhole. Or were these exposed traces just a pretense? In fact, they did not enter the wormhole at all. In the end, Wang Feng could only think of this possibility. Chapter 1549. Let's go and meet the 4 ancient demon clans. Let's see who they have found. A demon god? I want to see which demon god it is. Wang Feng laughed coldly. Lead the way, Basia. Basia hesitated for a moment before nodding. His hesitation made Wang Feng feel that something was wrong. Basia, have you noticed something? Wang Feng asked. Well, I have a few guesses. Master, you might not have thought of this. However, when I met with the ancestors of the 4 great ancient devil clans, I saw a special pattern with the ancestor of the 8 primordial ancient devil clan. I have some guesses. Basia thought for a moment. I can't be sure. However, you will know when you get there. This bastard was still keeping Wang Feng in suspense. As his honor, Wang Feng naturally couldn't show an impatient appearance. Wang Feng nodded slightly. In the clouds 500 kilometers away from Purple Ing Mountain, magical warships stretched across the horizon. The various war machines were inferior to the 3 demon god armies, but they were still decent. Hordes of soul demons formed rows and rows in front of the warships. Apart from the Xiling clan, the other 4 ancient demon clans were Bachi, Emozhen, Guming, and Dongxiu. In Wang Feng's cultural knowledge, they were all very strange and old names. Even the weakest of the ancient devil clans was considered a first-rate force in the dark devil world. It could not be helped. The ancient demon bloodline had a chance of becoming a demon god. A race like this that was born with this chance of becoming a demon god did not need to rely on all sorts of changes. Even if they could not cultivate, their talent was among the best among all the clans in the dark demon world. It meant that they could go even higher and further. As for the other forces, be it sects or academies, there were very few that could compare to the ancient demon clan. Your Honor, that's the grand demon ship that old ancestor Bachi is on. Wang Feng pointed to the largest warship in front of him. It was black and gold in color and had a sharp conical shape. There were no words or decorations on it. The body of the ship only had the patterns of the clans and all sorts of plate. Compared to the demon god fleet Wang Feng had seen in the Soul Demon Holy City, it was indeed inferior. That's it? Wang Feng glanced at it. Not only were their numbers incomparable to the demon god's fleets, but their soul demon warriors were also far inferior to the 3 demon gods' fleets. Who gave them the courage to say such things? Wang Feng's glabella lit up, and the god-forbidden space expanded inch by inch. Eventually, it landed in Wang Feng's palm. The surging waters of the heaven underworld river churned. One could vaguely see the shadows of countless ghostly demons screaming and howling. Demon monarch Tyrannical Summer's body trembled, and he couldn't help but distance himself. Your Honor, isn't this the Heaven Styx water that your human friend, Wang Feng, owns? Why is it here? Oh, that human Wang Feng, you're the one who directed and pretended to be him? Purple Water Chestnut exclaimed. His reaction was very fast. After all, they didn't see the scene in the Soul Demon Sacred City with their own eyes. The Heaven Styx River had a great effect on the magical machines. The battle back then had been too shocking, and the soul demons in the city were all in a daze. They couldn't record the details of the battle, only fragments. However, this wasn't enough for the soul demons from other demon realms to see the entire situation. Wang Feng nodded, but he didn't respond to Purple Water Chestnut. Instead, he gave Tyrannical Summer a look. Tyrannical Summer immediately understood. He let out an ancient demon voice that pierced through space. The Heaven Styx River is here. Ancestor Chi, if you don't want to bathe in the river, come out and greet me immediately. His words were extremely arrogant. His voice was even more imposing. In an instant, the demonic ship shook violently as if it was frightened by the voice. It swayed in midair, and even the soul demons in the front formation subconsciously retreated. Soon, the figure of a slightly older soul demon flew out of the ship. Judging from his aura, he should be the ancestor of the 8 ancient demon clan. Wait, Lord Dai, don't release the Heaven's Styx River. The old ancestor flew out shakily, shouting loudly as he flew out. You're admitting defeat just like that? Wang Feng looked at Demon Monarch Tyrannical Summer. It was as if he was asking another question. Is this the coward who said those arrogant words to you just now? Demon Monarch Tyrannical Summer nodded awkwardly. Ancestor 8 was indeed very arrogant earlier. But now or it seemed a little different. Not long after, Ancestor 8 flew in front of Wang Feng. He was stronger than the 3 sisters of the Ziling family, but smaller than the average soul demon. Ancient demons were all like this, because their bodies were extremely compact. Compared to other types of soul demons, few of them were 5 to 6 meters tall. He was about 3 meters tall and looked slightly old. Of course, it wasn't that he was older than the 3 sisters. On the contrary, he was much younger. It was just that he didn't have enough lifespan. His aptitude was slightly worse than the three sisters, and he had the strength of a demon lord. In the dark demon realm, except for the demon gods, all soul demons were not immortal. This was different from the divine world. From this point of view, the soul demons in the dark demon realm had enough motivation to cultivate. If they didn't cultivate, they would die anyway. In the divine world, as long as they were in the divine world, they were immortal. It didn't matter whether they cultivated or not. Your ancestor ate qi? Wang Feng said slowly. You said you wanted to take care of me as well? Yes, I said. Ancestor ate qi's body was half bent. He subconsciously answered when he heard this, but then he reacted and shook his head. No, I didn't say that. Nonsense. I heard it with my own ears. Demon Monarch Basya frowned. Old thing, you're already so old. You dare to do it, but you don't dare to admit it? You're a demon lord. You don't have to go that far, do you? No, no. Ancestor Eichi smiled bitterly. My body said it, but I didn't say it. It was the venerable one that my clan worships who forcibly controlled my devil body and said it. The same goes for the other three. Interesting. Wang Feng put away the god-forbidden space and continued to ask, so, the four ancient demon clans came here to besiege the Ziling clan because of your lord. Ancestor Eichi hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Yes. Who is it? Her name is Yunyu, Ancestor Eichi said. Yunyu? Wang Feng thought for a moment. Who was she? Did she have a grudge against Di? Cough, cough. Demon Monarch Basya coughed a few times and said, It seems like my guess is correct. Lord, you didn't forget, did you? She's the disciple you nurtured all those years ago. Now, she has become a demon god, second only to the 9 great demon gods. In the dark demon realm, other than the 9 great demon gods, she's the highest combat power in the dark demon realm. Also, like you, she doesn't have a godslayer. She's the only special demon god in the dark demon realm. Don't tell me you didn't know. Wang Feng. Chapter 1550. Of course I know. Wang Feng nodded reluctantly. No, my ass. How could Wang Feng know? Now that he heard Demon Lord Basya's words, he recalled that when he first came to Yunhai Si, Basya had indeed mentioned Yunyu to him. At the same time, he mentioned demon god Qing Luo. Wang Feng's main focus was on demon god Qing Luo because she was one of the 9 great demon gods of Darkfiend world. As for Yunyu, Wang Feng had long forgotten about her. It's good that you remember. Demon Lord Basya said softly, This Yunyu is not simple. She is a disciple you adopted back then and treated as your own. However, she rarely appears in Darkfiend world. Our Imperial Fiend army does not know much about her. Back then, I was just a small soldier in the Imperial Fiend army. I often saw you bringing her along. It was the same even when the war was at its most intense. Later on, when the Wormhole War weakened, you raised her in other worlds. Even when you left Darkfiend world, we rarely saw her. Even when news of your death spread from the Divine world, she did not appear. Many years later, she quietly appeared in Darkfiend world. Wang Feng wanted to ask, since she was a disciple that Di had painstakingly nurtured, why did she seem so hostile towards him? Could she have discovered that he was a fake? That was unlikely. Demon god Qing Luo had discovered him because she had met him, interacted with him, or even probed him. That was why she discovered him. This Yunyu had not even interacted with him. How could she have discovered him? Your Majesty, this Yunyu is your disciple. Why does she want to deal with you? Basya sent a mental voice transmission. He was extremely puzzled. You ask me, but who should I ask? Wang Feng coughed twice and said to Patriarch Bachi, Where is she? Ask her to come see me. This. Patriarch Bachi carefully glanced at Wang Feng. What? She wants you to dismiss your subordinates, said Patriarch Bachi. Oh! Wang Feng looked around and focused on the void. He said indifferently, since you want to deal with me, then come out. As for your subordinates, they are not strong enough to pose any threat to you. What's there to fear? Wang Feng didn't know where this mysterious Yun Yu came from. And what was she trying to do? Suddenly, at this moment, the world froze instantly, as if a button had been pressed on a camera. Several arcs of light tore through the forbidden space from the distant sky and fell towards Wang Feng's location like crescent moons falling to the ground. Aside from Wang Feng, his targets were the three patriarchs of purple chestnut beside him. The origin aura that seemed to be able to tear everything apart exuded an extremely terrifying power. Attack directly? Wang Feng frowned slightly. This Yun Yu was merciless. She wanted to kill him. Could it be that he really saw that my die was fake, so he wanted to deal with me? Wang Feng didn't dodge the attack. Instead, he used his elemental origin to transform into his demon body. Just like Ultraman, he suddenly grew several times larger. His body grew to more than 10 meters tall, like a giant. Swallow! Wang Feng opened his mouth slightly, and there seemed to be a divine light of the universe in his mouth. A terrifying suction force came from the divine light in his mouth. Like a black hole, the origin of devouring rapidly sucked the arc of light that spanned thousands of meters into its mouth. Without the boost from the exclusive Godslayer, such a level of origin attack would not threaten me at all. Wang Fengxin said. The power of the origin not only came from one's own origin, but also came from one's own understanding, the power of the divine power, and the power of the divine rings. As for understanding, Wang Feng didn't have much understanding. After all, he had inherited it all. But the power of the divine power and the divine rings were definitely top-notch. There was no age of divine rings, and it didn't seem like the Douluo world differentiated the strength of a divine ring by color. Generally speaking, divine rings were only related to the strength of the faith energy. It was the same for the Dark Demon Realm's Saint Demon Ring. Wang Feng's last two divine rings came from the faith energy of the Crimson God Heavenly Fox clan, which was purer and more terrifying than the faith generated by billions of creatures in many small and medium planes. Just the two divine rings alone were many times more powerful than any demon god's Saint Demon Ring. With the origin tribulation Supreme Being's inheritance, Wang Feng's current strength was comparable to those demon gods who had the exclusive Godslayer ability. Without the exclusive Godslayer ability, it was extremely difficult to hurt him. Just the body of the indestructible origin alone was difficult to break. In terms of strength, his body had already surpassed the body of his original body. But with the addition of the life origin in his original body, it couldn't compare. The increase in size allowed the devouring origin to cover a wider area, preventing the arc of light containing the powerful annihilation law from accidentally injuring Ba Xia and the three ancestors of Zi Ling. After swallowing it, Wang Feng frowned slightly. The energy contained in the arc of light was extremely special. It was very different from the demon god's power in the demon god's body. Where did this Yun Yu come from? Wang Feng's heart was filled with suspicion. At this moment, space changed, and the entire sky seemed to be covered by a layer of clouds. Mysterious patterns of light imprinted in the void from all directions, as if some kind of spatial restriction was placed, changing the sky and sun. A moment later, there was only Wang Feng in the sea of light. Camouflage, Wang Feng snorted coldly. Show yourself. As Wang Feng's voice faded, a figure appeared in the light and shadow in the distance. It was different from demon god Qing Luo. Demon god Qing Luo's original body was a soul demon, but she had transformed into a human. And this figure was a real human. That was Wang Feng's first impression. This Yun Yu was a human, not a soul demon. From the shadow revealed by the light, the other party's figure was graceful because there was only a shadow in the light and nothing else. Furthermore, her body was surrounded by all kinds of nomological energy, and 9 halos appeared on her body. She was indeed extremely powerful. Each halo seemed to reflect the boundless universe and thousands of living beings. It was dazzling. She was not inferior to the previous demon gods that Wang Feng had seen. Dai, you're not dead. I'm really disappointed. In the distance, the figure stopped extremely far away. But at a glance, it seemed to be right in front of him. Wang Feng was stunned. Could it be that he couldn't tell that he was fake? Wait, from his tone, it seemed like he had a grudge with Dai. No way, right? Wasn't this the disciple nurtured by that scumbag Dai? Oh Di, what the hell are you up to? Wang Feng felt that Dai, this fellow, was really a little hard to fathom. Since he was a disciple, why did he have the attitude of looking forward to his master's death? You really want me to die? Wang Feng's tone was calm. What else? The figure's tone carried a hint of mockery. Why, have you forgotten the promise from back then? Do you need me to help you recall? That's right, it's been tens of thousands of years. It's already not easy for you to come back alive, Wang Fengxin said. Fortunately, I'm not Dai. Otherwise, when he heard such offensive words, he probably wouldn't be able to maintain a calm state of mind. The disciple he nurtured had actually become an ingrate. Chapter 1551. Back then, when you left, you told me that you would never come back. You would never come back. You can let me go now. The figure said slowly, after all, you're already dead. There's nothing to be calculative about. I agreed. I didn't expect that after so many years. I've been feeling a little guilty recently. Thinking that you've been dead for tens of thousands of years, as your disciple, I have to set up a monument for you no matter what. I never expected that you would come back alive. The figure let out a cold voice that was like the evening drum and morning bell. It was low, but it shook one's heart. You can't let go of me, who has been dead for tens of thousands of years. Wang Feng pretended to know everything. You're not dead, so it's naturally impossible for you to let go. Hearing this, Wang Feng couldn't help but say indifferently, whatever. That's up to you. Just as you said, it's no longer important for me to come back alive. I can't remember what happened in the past. Whether you can let go or not has nothing to do with me. Wang Feng was probably certain that Di Ye's disciple most likely had some kind of life-and-death feud with Di Ye's old master. Sure, Di Ye. He could even come up with such a trick. Wang Feng felt as if he was suffocating, and that figure was spreading toward him. You can't remember? The figure's figure became colder and colder. She seemed to be very angry, to the extreme, but she appeared incomparably calm. Wang Feng could feel it clearly, because this emotion had already affected the release of the source energy. The surrounding space was trembling as if it would collapse at any moment. Very good. You've forgotten, but I won't forget. The figure continued, her tone becoming lower and lower. Di Ye, I can't deal with you today, but there will be a chance. Don't worry, I won't forget the promise back then. Since you've come back alive, I'll personally deal with you. This is the promise you made to me back then. Di Ye was an idiot, right? How could he make such a promise? Wang Feng thought to himself, F***ck, what did this guy Di Ye do? At this moment, the surrounding space slowly dissipated. That figure also slowly disappeared. Wang Feng didn't see the other party's appearance from the beginning to the end. You're scared now, aren't you? Wang Feng sneered. You're scared just because you saw yourself show off a few moves? Do you think you can't beat me? This Yun Yu doesn't seem like much. Or is she testing us? However, judging from the fluctuation of emotions earlier, it didn't seem like it was fake for it to be able to affect the origin. In short, it seems like we have another enemy? Wang Feng shook his head. The mess left behind by Dai was really not easy to clean up. It wouldn't be easy for him to leave now. The scenery around him condensed once more, as if only an instant had passed. Your Honor, just now Demon Monarch Basya suddenly woke up and looked at Wang Feng. I'm fine. I just saw Yunue. Wang Feng waved his hand. She wanted to attack me, but she knew the difference in strength, so she left. Demon Monarch Basya didn't know what to say. The demonic emperor army did not know much about the mysterious Yunue. Wang Feng looked at Ancestor Qi and asked, "When did you submit to her?" "A few days ago." Old Ancestor Ba Qi looked embarrassed. "The great ancient demon clan submitted just like that?" Wang Feng raised his eyebrows. "There's no other way. Your honor is too strong. Plus, demon god Huanghai is missing. So, even the ancient demon clan has to find a backer in time." Ancestor Qi said honestly, "Look, aren't the three ancestors of the Xiling clan very far-sighted?" He was indeed an ancestor. His words were good. "So she asked you to attack the Xiling clan? What's the purpose?" Wang Feng frowned. I'm not sure. The reason given by your honor is that the Xiling clan's wormhole is very valuable, and there are traces of demon god Huanghai. So, she ordered the ancient demon clan and some forces in the demonic zone to unite and destroy the Xiling clan first. "We think it makes sense," Ancestor Qi said. "After all, the Xiling clan is the strongest. Now that demon god Huanghai is missing and the demonic zone is in chaos, we naturally have to get rid of the strongest first." Wang Feng felt that this reason was a bit far-fetched. Ancestor Qi seemed to sense Wang Feng's thoughts and continued in a low voice, "However, your honor seems to hate the Xiling clan very much." "Oh no. It should be that she hates everyone around your honor die." She called the three ancestors of the Xiling clan three bitches and the Yu siblings of the Treasure Rock Chamber of Commerce lackeys. She only knows how to curry favor. Wang Feng pondered. Could it be that Yun Yu and Demon God Dai were the love-hate type? It couldn't be. When Yun Yu spoke, Wang Feng couldn't hear any love, only killing. The hatred must be real. Or maybe it was because there were more and more forces around Dai that it wasn't easy to make a move. Maybe that's why she called these forces the moment Dai returned and immediately went to curry favor with them. No matter what, there's one more opponent. The enemy can't escape. Wang Feng sighed. Dai's fault was really not easy to bear. That's enough. She has left for the time being. As for your ancient demon clan, go back to your own homes. Wang Feng said bluntly, "You can fight however you want in the demonic zone, as long as you don't involve the Xiling clan. I won't interfere. Soon, the Pure Sky Palace will send experts to control your demonic zone." Ancestor Ba Qi dared not say anything. Seeing this, Wang Feng felt that it was time. It seems that demon god Huang Hai isn't stupid enough to enter the wormhole directly after exposing his tracks. He must have gone somewhere else, Wang Feng pondered. I don't have a source of information now. I can either go to the Treasure Rock Chamber of Commerce or go directly to the Pure Sky Palace in the central demonic zone. Let the Pure Sky Palace find demon god Huang Hai directly. Anyway, as long as he doesn't go to the wormhole, the Pure Sky Palace will find him in the Dark Demon Realm. Suddenly, Wang Feng thought of a place. That place might not be found by the Pure Sky Palace. Demon god Huang Hai couldn't have gone to that place, right? Wang Feng shook his head, thinking that it was unlikely. The price was too high. After thinking for a long time, Wang Feng took Demon Lord Basya and bade farewell to the three ancestors of the Xiling clan. Then, they went to the North T Demonic Zone where the Treasure Rock Chamber of Commerce's headquarters was located. After Wang Feng left, in the courtyard of the Xiling clan's main residence in the new city built by the Xiling clan, the three sisters let out a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, His Holiness is here. Otherwise, with the four ancient demon clans and a demon god behind them, our Xiling clan would be doomed. Xiling Xianhui forced a smile. Xiling Shuyuan nodded and thought for a moment. I didn't expect that Yunue to appear in the Dark Demon Realm again. It's been a few hundred years since then. His Holiness treated her so well back then, but she always hated him. I really don't understand. I think she's envious. Xiling Mingxing sneered. She was the only one by His Holiness's side back then. Although he called her his disciple, they were actually very close. Now that His Holiness is back, and she's not the only one by his side, she's starting to worry. No, I remember that Yunyue a little. Xiling Xianhui frowned and said, her relationship with His Honor back then was extremely bad. When I met His Honor back then, His Honor would disappear for a period of time every once in a while to meet this Yunyu. Every time he came back, he would be injured. Mingxing, you were young back then, and might not remember, but I remember very clearly. With His Holiness's strength back then, Yunyue couldn't have hurt him. It's possible that His Holiness wanted to. Chapter 1552. Northern Tea Devil Region. Originally known as Northern Tea Realm, it was separated from the other realms during the Dark Demon Realm's ancient era. The Dark Demon Qi concentration was extremely low, and it belonged to a remote and barren world with very few life forms. Later, when the 9 realms merged, Northern Tea Realm was gradually influenced by the other realms due to the Dark Demon Qi concentration and gradually improved. However, its strength was at the bottom of the 9 Dark Demon Realms. However, it was undeniable that Northern Tea Realm was the most ancient realm in the Dark Demon Realm. Wang Feng didn't have any history to check. Even though he had flown all the way here from the Abyss Sea Devil Domain, he was still able to find out some things that everyone knew from the major cities of the North Tea Devil Domain. Our Northern Tea Realm is the most ancient realm in the Dark Demon Realm. In terms of strength, our Northern Tea Realm is no match for the other Devil Realms. In terms of history and age, the other Devil Realms have to call us ancestors. This was one of the favorite words of the soul demons in this world. It was also because of this reason. Northern Tea Devil Region had the most ancient demon god. The Decaying Demon God. Our Decaying Demon God may not be the strongest demon god, but he is definitely the one who has lived the longest. This was the favorite phrase of many soul demons in Northern Tea Devil Region. If one looked at it from another perspective, living the longest in the Dark Demon Realm was indeed very impressive. The lifespan of soul demons in the Dark Demon Realm was not as unlimited as the gods, but the lifespan of a demon god was definitely very long. He was a demon god, after all, so there was no need to worry about his lifespan. Unfortunately, living a long life was only one thing. Times were always changing, and most of the ancient things in the Dark Demon Realm were eliminated. In the ancient era of the Dark Demon Realm, other than the special bloodline of the ancient demons, there were still advantages in this era. The rest could not be compared to this era. For example, it was extremely difficult for soul demons in the ancient era to reproduce. This was similar to the God realm. Therefore, the number of soul demons in the ancient era was far inferior to this era. Moreover, the space of the 9 Dark Demon Realms in the ancient era was more stable and rich in resources. It was not difficult to survive in that era. In the Middle Ages, the era of the Yama Lords, the environment of the 9 Dark Demon Realms had gradually begun to decline. It was also at this time that the Dark Demon Realm began to wage war to ensure the acquisition of resources. The 2 wars against the God Realm took place at that time. The late ancient era was when Demon God Dai leaned towards the Dark Demon Realm. At that time, wormholes had already begun to erupt in the 9 Dark Demon Realms. All kinds of spatial rifts had appeared in the Dark Devil world during that era. Danger and opportunity coexisted. It was during that era that Demon God Dai formed the Demon Emperor army and began to sweep through the Dark Demon 9 realms. After that, Demon God Dai went to the Divine Realm, and Yama Lord took over the Demon Emperor army and continued to form the Night Demon King, Demon Awakening Demon King, and so on. They began to target the endless darkness produced by the spatial rifts and seize the world's resources. The more ancient demon gods, like demon god Shang, were born towards the end of the Middle Ancient Era. They had only made it to the end of 2 god wars and could only serve as foot soldiers. The Yama Lords belonged to the early stages of the Middle Ages, and could be considered an extremely ancient existence. However, the Yama Lords did not participate in the 2 divine wars. As for the demonic god of decay, he was in existence from the ancient era. In other words, the demon god of decay must be a soul demon from the same era as the ancestral demon? Wang Feng pondered. That was because the ancestor demon was in existence from the ancient era. There was an extremely important symbol in the ancient era, and that was the fusion of the dark demon 9 realms to form the dark demon realm. And the one who completed this was the ancestral demon. Unfortunately, although he had lived for a long time, it was clear that this demon god was not interested in fighting. His strength was at the bottom of the list compared to the other demon god. This actually went against Wang Feng's understanding. Generally speaking, the longer one lived, the stronger one was. But in fact, in the late ancient era, the dark demon realm changed too quickly. If one was not interested in fighting and seized too little resources, their strength would only fall behind. Especially after Yama Lord pushed out the Godslayer. No matter what realm a soul demon was at, they were all reshuffled. However, there was one advantage to living for a long time, and that was that he knew a lot of secrets. As a demon god, naturally, the more he knew, the more valuable he would be. Wang Feng wanted to meet this demon god of decay on this trip. It would be best if he could find out about the ancestral demon's story. Since they were from the same era, he must know more than demon god Qing Luo. It did not matter if he failed to find out anything. His main goal was still Godslayer from the Treasure Gathering Rock Association. The Treasure Gathering Rock Association's headquarters was not in Northern T-Fiend Domain's main city. Instead, it was in a city established by the Treasure Gathering Rock Association, Treasure Gathering Heavenly City. The Treasure Gathering Rock Association was a special merchant faction that spread throughout the Dark Demon Realm's 9 realms in the late Ancient Era. It covered the 9 regions and was an extremely massive faction. Wang Feng refused to believe that it did not have a backer or mastermind for it to become such a massive faction. Although the Yu siblings were saved by Di back then, when Di left, they hadn't established any chamber of commerce yet. The headquarters is established in Northern T-Fiend Domain. The Yu siblings are probably backed by this demon god of decay, said Wang Fengxin. Treasure Gathering Heavenly City. Wang Feng's impression of the city was somewhat similar to the Soul Demon Sacred City. Qing Luo vigorously developed the wormhole civilization in her fiend domain, turning the Soul Demon Sacred City into a magnificent city that gathered many civilizations. As for Treasure Gathering Heavenly City, it was perhaps even more exaggerated than the Soul Demon Sacred City. This was because Wang Feng saw all sorts of strange lifeforms in the city. Even the soul fiends of the Tenebrous Fiend world were considered rare species. The city was extremely majestic. Its overall shape was very simple. It was pyramid-shaped and floated in the air. It was more than 10,000 meters tall. The city was divided into 5 levels. Every level was separated by thousands of meters. They were irregular in shape. The lowest level was the most spacious. According to the data Wang Feng knew, it had an area of millions of square kilometers. The first city's interior was filled with all sorts of buildings. If it were placed in the mortal world, it would be equivalent to a small continent. Going up, the area of the highest level was the smallest. Wang Feng's impression of the city was quite astounding. It was a lot more astounding than the Soul Demon Sacred City. Wang Feng even felt that even if he went to the Clear Sky Palace, he might not be as astounding as this city. This was because he could sense that treasure-gathering heavenly city was like another world. It was filled with all sorts of lifeforms and races. Especially the lowest level, due to its massive size, it was covered with mountains and rivers. The city's interior was a simple circular structure with distinct levels. End of chapter. Chapter 1553. In the center, there was a stone pillar that connected the upper and lower levels like a stairway to heaven. Looking from afar, the treasure trove heavenly city was like a small world that sat on the vast land of the devil's domain. However, because the interior of the city was huge, one might not even be able to sense the land of the infernal domain outside. This city is very interesting, Wang Feng muttered to himself. Wang Feng found it very interesting just by looking at it from afar. As he got closer, he realized that compared to the city, he was so small that he could be ignored. At this moment, he was in the clouds dozens of miles away from the city. The exterior of the city was densely packed with law patterns. These law patterns were very special. They were a special kind of spatial law that was similar to an illusory space. Simply put, in addition to strengthening the city, it also acted as a kind of curtain that allowed the living beings inside to see the outside world and change. The purpose of creating such a city is not just for trade. Wang Feng vaguely guessed something. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng's figure changed and he disappeared in midair. Then, he silently appeared in the lowest level of Treasure Trove City. With his elemental origin, he could transform into thousands of things. The law of this city was ineffective against the demon god. It was equivalent to nothingness to him. The restrictions and law of the upper levels were personally set up by the demon god. If one wanted to barge in, they would more or less be alarmed. However, Wang Feng was only here to take a look. It did not matter if they were alarmed. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at the besieged city in the distance. This was the first level of the besieged city. There were all kinds of strange symbols on the blood-colored besieged city. Standing outside the city, Wang Feng indeed saw the various real scenes formed by the law. In the dark sky, a sinister wind howled. It was like the end of the world. Outside the besieged city, the ground was cracked and there were countless withered plants. Further away, there was only darkness. There were only 2 sleepy guards on the blood-colored besieged city. These 2 guards were very interesting. They were headless and their faces were on their chests. They looked ferocious and had 4 limbs. They leaned against the city wall. Wang Feng looked at the barren land around him. Occasionally, unconscious humans or other races would emerge from the cracked ground. After waking up, they subconsciously walked toward the blood-colored besieged city. Interesting. Wang Feng's face stiffened. He was familiar with some of the clothes of the humans who walked out of the cracked and barren land. He was a mortal. He subconsciously looked at the sky in the distance. He could see the heavenly pillar that led to the top. I wonder who came up with the idea for this city. Then the Yu siblings. Wang Feng smiled, finding it rather interesting. Since he was already here, he might as well take a look. The Yu siblings should have sensed it already, right? My honorable one is here. After thinking about it, Wang Feng walked towards the boundless blood-red city in front of him. Newcomer, welcome to Scarlet Tomb City. The city gate was an old-fashioned city gate. It was arched and over 100 meters tall. The 2 headless monsters guarding the gate seemed weak to Wang Feng. Perhaps only those soul demons that Wang Feng had encountered in the Douluo world were like them. Oh, Scarlet Tomb City? Wang Feng raised an eyebrow. So it was still called Treasure Trove Heavenly City. That made sense. That's right. This is Scarlet Tomb City. Theoretically speaking, you've already died in another world. The headless monster on the left spoke in a low voice. It gave people the feeling that they were in the darkness and that there were only endless whispers around them. Wang Feng. I'm indeed dead, but why am I here? At this time, a few men and women walked over from afar. They seemed to have heard the words and their faces were a little pale. Among them, there were pale-faced boys in school uniforms, charming women in disheveled ancient costumes, and pale-faced young men who wouldn't stand out even if they were thrown into a crowd. There were even young chivalrous men dressed in ancient clothing from Wang Feng's previous life, with feminine faces. These people were still in a state of confusion. Perhaps they thought they had come to hell? They didn't seem to feel anything when they saw the headless monster. Not even the slightest reaction. Sigh, everyone who comes to Scarlet Tomb City will ask such a stupid question. The headless monster on the right side. The pair of eyes on its belly looked at them with pity. You are the chosen tomb takers. If you don't know anything, look at the bracelets on your wrist. Everything will be clear. Don't ask me any more nonsense. At this time, the men and women finally noticed the bracelets on their wrists. Wang Feng looked at his wrist. Sigh, nothing. Wang Fengxin snickered inwardly. I'm familiar with the infinite style. I didn't expect the first level of Treasure Trove Heavenly City to be like this. Oh, this place isn't called Treasure Trove Heavenly City. It's called Scarlet Fortress. Then, the men and women began to look at the bracelets on their wrists in a panic. At first, there was panic, as if they were suddenly woken up from a beautiful dream. Then, there was shock, and then there was silent acceptance. They probably understood the situation. At this time, the youth who looked like a hero suddenly rushed toward the two headless monsters. He took large strides as if he was using a strange footwork. Before the others could react, he had already rushed to the front of the headless monsters. Then, his fingertips trembled and turned into a sword, attacking the two headless monsters. It was hard to see with the naked eye. Oh, I didn't expect you to retain some of your abilities from when you were alive. Kid, it seems that the initial talent you obtained is amazing. The two headless monsters seemed to be used to this. Lonely book room. They just stood there. They didn't dodge. As soon as the young hero touched the headless monster's body, his whole body seemed to sink into a quagmire and could no longer move. Only a horrified expression could be seen on his face. You want to fight us with that little strength of yours? The headless monster sneered. You're asking for death. After saying that, he only knew to snort softly. In an instant, the young hero was sent flying backward as if he had been hit by a cannonball. Seeing this, the other men and women's expressions suddenly changed. Seeing this, Wang Feng found it quite interesting. He waved his hand slightly and grabbed the young man's shoulder. Then, he pretended to be hit by a great force and took a few steps back before he could stabilize himself. The two headless monsters frowned and looked at Wang Feng, faintly feeling a little strange. Are you okay? Wang Feng glanced at the young man. The young man's face was feminine and handsome. If he was in ancient times, he would probably be a handsome man. But as if he had noticed something, Wang Feng's eyes were filled with shock. It's nothing serious. I'm Lin Pingji. Thank you for your help. The young man coughed a few times and looked at Wang Feng. Wang Feng. The young man's expression was indifferent. After he thanked Wang Feng with a fist salute, he walked toward Scarlet Fortress. The rest of the people looked at each other. At this time, the charming woman in the ancient costume seemed to have come back to her senses. Her gaze fell on Wang Feng, and suddenly a burst of light burst out from her eyes. She said in a delicate voice, "Two lords, is this young master also dead?" As she said that, she had a look of pity. Nonsense, as long as one comes here, they are all dead. The two headless monsters coldly glanced at Wang Feng. Oh, so that's how it is. The woman in the ancient costume walked with a charming gaze. Her figure was graceful, and the men beside her felt thirsty. She bowed to Wang Feng. I'm Pan Jinlian. I came here by chance. I have no relatives and only feel lonely. I wonder if I can travel with young master? Wait, what's your name? Wang Feng asked. My surname is Pan Jinlian. Wang Feng. He looked at the blood-red city, sighed, and shook his head. Pan Jinlian looked disappointed and forced a smile. Beauty, if he doesn't want to travel with you, why don't you travel with me? At this time, the high school boy in the school uniform had a smile on his face and said in a gentle tone, I will take good care of you. Pan Jinlian looked at the young man and frowned slightly. She seemed to think that he was a bit young. Originally, he looked okay, but after seeing Wang Feng's beautiful face, she felt that he was extremely ugly. My name is Ito Makoto. The young man coughed. This Scarlet Fortress is extremely dangerous. If we travel together, we can take care of each other. What do you think? Ito Makoto, what a strange name. Pan Jinlian looked disgusted. Wang Feng also looked at the young man in surprise. Brother Makoto? He had already expected that it was not easy for the Treasure Rock Chamber of Commerce to build such a city. They must have integrated many worlds. He didn't expect that they could even deal with this guy. Not simple. And, you see, he doesn't even have the Ring of Tomb. He's definitely not the chosen one. Ito Makoto pointed at Wang Feng and said confidently. As soon as his voice fell, the rest of the people didn't react. The two headless monsters looked at Wang Feng in surprise. He exclaimed in his heart. No wonder there was something wrong. This guy didn't have the Ring of Tomb. How did he come here? At this time, the sky darkened. The two headless guards immediately whispered, If you don't want to die, quickly enter the city. You don't have the Ring of Tomb. You're not a tomb. You can't enter the city. The rest of the people's heart palpitated, looking at the distance as if there was something terrifying. They hurriedly swarmed into the city. Pan Jinlian looked at Wang Feng's face reluctantly and sighed as she entered the city. Lin Pingji was a little hesitant. He turned around and looked at Wang Feng, touched the Ring of Tomb, and then entered the city. Wang Feng looked at the sky. Time seemed to have stopped. The two headless guards hurriedly entered the city and closed the gate. The world outside Scarlet Fortress was dead silent. Wang Feng stood in place without moving. After a long time, two figures landed. Your Honor, why are you here? It was Yu Xiaoxiao's voice. Yurin Xin also came with her. Since you're here, just tell us. Yu Xiaoxiao said, Why did you lower yourself to come here? With that, she curled her lips with a helpless look. The 5th floor of Treasure Rock Heaven City is where your headquarters is? Wang Feng asked. You can say so. Yu Xiaoxiao nodded. Let me ask you a question. Wang Feng looked at Sanguine Fortress. Who came up with the idea of building Treasure Trove Heaven City and Sanguine Fortress? Hearing this, Yu Xiaoxiao was stunned. Then she pretended not to know anything and looked at Wang Feng in surprise. Your Honor, have you forgotten that this was your idea back then? Chapter 1554. Dia's idea? Wang Fengxin couldn't help but feel shocked. In terms of time, that was Dia's idea from tens of thousands of years ago. It wasn't simple. That's right. Back then, Supreme One, in order to cultivate your own darkness origin and conquer countless wormholes to cultivate elites for the Imperial Demon Army, you wanted to take in all the worlds of the universe. Therefore, he wanted to recruit all the living beings of the various races in the universe and use the convenience of the wormhole to quickly create one powerhouse after another. At that time, your idea was just a prototype. Later on, after you fell, us two siblings built this treasure-gathering royal city according to your ideas. Yu Xiaoxiao's expression was somewhat confident and proud. I see Wang Fengxin finally understood. If that was the case, the Yu siblings were even more complicated. The first level is the Blood Tomb City. Yu Xiaoxiao pointed at the boundless and magnificent city in the distance. Our treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce has business all over the world. Through various channels, we can obtain many souls that have already died in other worlds. We can use the Godslayer terminal to construct a digitized body for them. Then, we can enter this city and travel to other worlds to carry out missions. On one hand, we can train ourselves. On the other hand, we can explore many unknown worlds or collect faith. Her goal was clear. In the first level of the Blood Tomb City, most of the wormholes are connected to many small worlds. After that, the second, third, fourth, and fifth levels respectively cover the worlds that Dark Demon Realm has yet to connect to. Supreme One, do you know the Sacred World ranking? Yu Xiaoxiao said. Wang Feng nodded. Of course he did. Demon God Qing Luo had given him many of the worlds on the ranking were very powerful. Most of them were powerful worlds that even Dark Demon Realm couldn't conquer. The worlds on the ranking are often very powerful. But the more powerful they are, the more resources they have and the more experts they have. The 9 demon realms are all trying to establish relationships with the worlds on the ranking or find opportunities to enter and plunder resources or collect faith. Yu Xiaoxiao looked at the heaven-reaching tower in the center of the Blood Tomb City. Our treasure-gathering royal city's ultimate goal is the worlds on the Sacred World ranking. This is all thanks to your idea back then, Supreme One, that gave us the opportunity to build this city. She had an idea. Wang Feng nodded as he listened. To be able to build the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce, the siblings were indeed talented. Dai's taste was still not bad. This city is under my brother's control. He can be considered the god of treasure-gathering royal city. Yu Xiaoxiao covered her mouth and laughed. Don't use the word god. Yuren Xian's face darkened. TCH, when you first created it, you were the one who called yourself the God of Myriad Worlds. That's how you bewitched the beings of Myriad Worlds through the ring of tomb enforcers, Yu Xiaoxiao scolded without holding back. Yuren Xian was like a young man who had been exposed on the spot. He felt a little embarrassed. Just the two of you shouldn't be enough to establish the treasure trove royal city system, right? Wang Feng pondered. Without a fiend celestial taking action, these restrictions cannot be set up. That's right. The reason why we built this main city in the northern T-Demon region was because the demonic god of decay supported our initial idea. Yu Xiaoxiao sighed. When we first came up with this idea, the other fiend celestials of the 9 regions, with the exception of the Yama Lord, didn't think highly of it and didn't support our plan. It wasn't until we arrived at North T-Devil Domain that the demonic god of decay immediately took a liking to our idea and reported it to the Yama Lord. Only then did he establish this treasure trove royal city. That's right. It was impossible for the fiend celestials to not know about such a huge city. Your Honor, follow us to the 5th floor first. Our headquarters is there. Yu Xiaoxiao's eyes flashed with a faint light. Wang Feng didn't refuse. He entered here just to take a look and didn't have any other intentions. How long has this treasure trove royal city been established? Has it nurtured any powerful experts? Although he didn't have any other intentions, Wang Feng was still very interested. Of course. Yu Xiaoxiao giggled. The 1st floor's Blood Tomb City is just a screening. The 2nd floor's Nether Tomb City is the real nurturing. The 3rd floor's Slaughter Tomb City is for the elite. The 4th floor's Miegu Tomb City is for the final screening. Generally, experts who can enter the 4th floor are already able to comprehend the power of the origin and are equivalent to a demon monarch. The 5th floor requires one to be at least a demon master before they can enter. Currently, there are less than 10 experts in the 5th floor's realm of the gods. They are all demon masters, but their actual combat strength is stronger than a demon master. Because these fellows have all entered countless worlds to train. They are incomparably experienced and very powerful. Not bad. According to the strength hierarchy of Treasure Trove Royal City, the experts in the 5th floor were probably the ultimate powerhouses of the infinite reincarnators in Wang Feng's memory. Demon masters were second only to demon gods. In the universe, they were definitely one of the top experts, able to shatter stars and break suns at will. These fellows are the key to us taking down the Sacred World Board. Furthermore, at their level, they are aware of our existence and can be considered as partners with us. Yu Xiaoxiao thought for a bit. It's also because of their special existence that we call them Tomb Realm Expert. Don't underestimate them, Your Holiness. They're a dozen peak tomb realm experts, and if they're well prepared, they can even touch a demon god. As she spoke, Yu Xiaoxiao brought Wang Feng up to the upper level. Of course, they flew up directly. For those who wanted to go to the first floor or the other floors, if they wanted to go up, they would have to go through the pillar in the center of the city to reach the second floor. Outside the city, Yu Xiaoxiao and the rest had placed many other powerful shadow demon beasts or other powerful monsters from other worlds, used for each floor's dangerous environment. Wang Feng listened with great interest. "Oh right, those few men and women I met on the first floor." Wang Feng thought for a bit. Those are all people who died long ago and were chosen to enter Blood Tomb City. The planes they are in are also very low level. Yu Xiaoxiao casually said, "Some life form spaces are located in very low dimensions. But what's interesting about myriad worlds is that as long as they have intelligence, dimensions can only represent the level of power. The potential of life is often huge. Even an ant might have a chance to enter the 5th level in this treasure trove royal city. Of course, that possibility is very low." "What channels did you use to obtain these dead souls?" Wang Feng's heart stirred as he asked. "About this." Yu Xiaoxiao paused. "Naturally, it's the channels of the Merchant Association. The Merchant Association has been in business for many years. It's not just in the wormhole worlds connected to Dark Demon World." Yuren Xian continued. "Even if Dark Demon World isn't connected to wormholes, we can still set foot in it. Channels are nothing more than the exchange of resources." Chapter 1555. This was probably the core secret of the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce. The two spoke very vaguely. Wang Feng did not ask further. "Master, do you know where the resources we spent to prepare this set of exclusive God Slayer for you came from?" Yu Xiaoxiao quietly changed the topic. Because she understood that Dai came here for the exclusive God Slayer. Could it be that those tomb realm beings were looking for it? Wang Feng asked. "That's right." Yu Xiaoxiao was taken aback for a moment before she smiled and said, "Not only are there all sorts of strange resources required to slay a god, but the matching types also require countless attempts. Not only is the cost astronomical, but some are also extremely rare and difficult to find. We issued missions to these tomb realm dwellers and bartered for resources. After that, we were able to slowly gather the required resources. After some training, we were able to slowly gather the required resources. Otherwise, if it's just the two of us, it's almost impossible to find all of them. After all, some of the materials are not only strange but also extremely rare." Exclusive God Slayer. Wang Feng pondered for a moment. The God Slayer in his body had not moved for a long time. Regarding God Slayer, Wang Feng had a detailed understanding when he came. Not long after, Yu Xiaoxiao brought Wang Feng to the 5th level. Relatively speaking, the difference between this level and the first level was like heaven and earth. This level was full of blue sky and white clouds, and rich energy floated in the air. This energy was not only gentle but also very comfortable. It was somewhat similar to the immortal spirit energy of the God realm, but there were some differences. The attributes were not quite the same. All kinds of vegetation were also very dense, very different from the vegetation of the demon realm outside. It was the kind of vegetation that carried immortal energy. The whole body was white gold, causing the entire space to seem to be dyed with a layer of halo. There was a city in the center, which was the real main city of the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce. This main city was not open to the public and only received special customers of the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce. These customers came from various worlds, and their needs were often very strange. They also had extremely high status and strength. Otherwise, the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce would not receive them in the main city. The 5th level of the God realm was above the main city. It was located above the clouds, in a group of buildings that looked like heavenly palaces. Exclusive God Slayer. For any demon god, it takes a long time of cultivation and countless years of accumulation to obtain it, Wang Feng said slowly. Wang Feng said slowly, according to what I know about the exclusive god slayers, most of them are cultivated after birth, and not a complete set. Even if you have the materials, you have to be a demonic god if you want to cultivate it into a god slayer. Although Wang Feng came here to slay a god, he did not hold much hope. This was because it was too difficult to obtain. Wang Feng didn't really believe that the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce had a set of exclusive god slayers. One had to know that the binding between the exclusive god slayer and the devil god could not be undone. If the demon god were to perish, this exclusive god slayer would also lose its spiritual glow. Then, the data would disintegrate, and the only thing left behind would be the body. They could barely be used as materials and resources, and could be used to cultivate another exclusive god slayer. However, it was impossible for it to remain intact. It's different. Yu Xiaoxiao chuckled. Our exclusive god slayer set is the latest model. To be more precise, it's the latest exclusive god slayer set developed by the Yama Lord. This kind of exclusive godslayer did not need to be like the exclusive godslayers of other godslayers. It needed to be nurtured very early on. It's the complete set. Oh! Wang Feng was surprised. In terms of algebra, the exclusive godslayer is considered the 5th generation of godslayers. Then, our treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce's set is the latest 6th generation of godslayers. It's not called the exclusive God Slayer, but the eternal God Slayer. As the name implies, this God Slayer was created for eternal existence. Even if the demon god perishes, it can be preserved completely. It perfectly avoids the flaw of the 5th generation exclusive God Slayer. Of course, there are other stronger abilities. This Yama Lord was truly powerful. Eternal God Slayer. The word eternal was not something that could be named casually. Wang Feng knew nothing about this. Even Qing Luo did not seem to know about the eternal god slayer. However, this left Wang Feng even more puzzled. If it was such an impressive god slayer, why would the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce give it to him? Wang Feng did not believe it. Before he came, Qing Luo had said that the treasure-gathering rock chamber of commerce might have seen through his identity. In other words, they might know that the Dai Fiend Celestial was in disguise. He was not the real Dai Fiend Celestial. Then, would they really give it to him? Wang Feng did not believe it. The Yama Lord was the most outstanding and greatest existence of the dark demon world in recent times. Yu Xiaoxiao's tone was full of reverence. Be it in strength or wisdom, no one in the Middle Ages could compare to her, let alone the late ages. Every generation of god slayers was personally checked by the Yama Lord. She said that the eternal god slayer would be the limit of god slayer. It is the limit of magical machine technology. It is the key to breaking through the limits of a demon god. She was just boasting. Wang Feng's expression did not change. The more she boasted, the more suspicious Wang Feng became. Why didn't she use such a powerful god slayer for herself? Wang Feng asked calmly. No, it's not that she didn't use it. The eternal god slayer requires a very special material. The Yama Lord had the idea of the eternal god slayer. In order to reach the limit of god slayer, she went to look for it herself. Yuren Xian said quietly. Could this material be related to the well of reincarnation? Wang Feng's eyes flashed. Both of them were stunned. They did not expect such a quick reaction. That's right. Yuren Xian nodded. Since you have guessed it, you must know that the Yama Lord went to the well of reincarnation. Otherwise, the situation in the Soul Demon Holy City would not have happened. This material requires the spring water of the well of reincarnation, the spring of reincarnation. So, the Yama Lord has been found? Wang Feng looked at the two of them. Yes, we have. Not long after the Yama Lord disappeared, our headquarters received a spring of reincarnation. It was sent by a mysterious woman. However, the Yama Lord did not return. Yu Xiaoxiao's expression dimmed. The well of reincarnation. This was one of Wang Feng's ultimate goals in coming to the dark demon world. According to the legends, even demon gods had to die before their demonic bodies dissipated. Only when their demonic souls wandered the 9 domains could they find this mysterious place. If the Yama Lord had found this place, did it mean that she was dead? But who was this mysterious woman who sent the spring of reincarnation? Did the Yama Lord ask her to send it? According to the quantity, 2 portions of the spring of reincarnation were sent. The other portion was sent to the Pure Sky Palace, Yu Xiaoxiao said. If I'm not mistaken, the Pure Sky Palace also made a set when the Yama Lord asked us to make the Eternal God slaying set. It's probably because of the heavenly demon's supremacy. He is the successor of the Yama Lord. Heavenly demon supremacy? I'm familiar with that. I still don't quite understand. Wang Feng was still puzzled. The Pure Sky Palace made the Eternal God slaying set for the heavenly demon's supremacy. Then why did the treasure-gathering Rock Chamber of Commerce make the Eternal God slaying set? Hearing this, Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Renxian both looked at Wang Feng. After a while, Yu Xiaoxiao slowly said, "The Yama Lord has long predicted that you will return. Therefore, when he asked us to make the Eternal God slaying set, it meant it was specially made for you." Hearing this, Wang Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. Who was the Yama Lord? How could his prediction be so accurate? End of chapter. Chapter 1556. The realm of the gods above the clouds was very interesting. It was a cluster of buildings that looked like a heavenly palace. The area was not big, but it was surrounded by countless law patterns, all of which were laid down by the demon god. It was enough to make this space a true realm of the god. Those below the demon master would not even be able to sense it. It was extremely difficult for the tomb dwellers to enter this space, which was less than 1 in a billion. Currently, there were only 14 tomb realm cultivators who had truly entered the realm of the gods. The Eternal God slaying set is in the realm of the gods. Your Honor, please follow us to take a look at it. After talking with Wang Feng, Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Renxian brought Wang Feng to the core of the 5th level, the realm of the gods. Wang Feng nodded slightly and followed them. His heart was in turmoil. He was not sure which Yama Lord had predicted the return of the real demon god Dai, or was it him who had pretended to be demon god Dai. If it was the former, then this Yama Lord was not simple. If it was the latter, then it was even more complicated. This was a peerless figure who had destroyed the God Realm's king city's restriction with one palm. No one in the dark demon realm could compare to him for 2 generations. He was constantly shocking and surprising Wang Feng. A mysterious aura had always shrouded him. You and the Yama Lord were close friends. Anyone who knew the Yama Lord would know that your honor came to the dark demon realm because of the Yama Lord's appreciation and recognition. It was natural for him to leave this eternal god slaying set for you. Yu Xiaoxiao seemed to have sensed Wang Fengxin's doubts and explained. I know. Wang Feng's gaze fell on the front. They had arrived above the clouds in the realm of the god. The more Wang Feng looked, the more he felt that the buildings in the realm of the gods resembled a heavenly palace. There was also the smell of textiles. Wang Feng thought of the blazing sun, heavenly paths, heavenly court on the other side of the wormhole. It was about 30 to 40% similar. As soon as they reached the clouds, the buildings in the distance came into view. A crisp voice that sounded like the sound of nature gently rang out. Ayaya, what a rare guest! What mission do the 2 of you have today? There's an outsider? Looking in the direction of the voice, Wang Feng saw a woman in a long white dress flying over from afar like a fairy. If this woman were to lower her realm, she would probably be at the limit of the creator realm. Her body and face were all exquisite. However, it lacked some spiritual energy. I'm afraid I created this body myself. This face, this waist, these legs, these buttocks. With a casual glance, Wang Feng could tell that the other party's physical body was probably a toy. It looked good on the outside, but the inside was filled with all kinds of parts. It didn't have any real function. Changshi, go give the order to activate the true devil armillary sphere. Call your other friends. You guys have something to do. Yu Xiaoxiao coughed and said to this artificial fairy. True devil armillary sphere? Oh, so the owner of that item is here? The artificial fairy looked at Wang Feng in surprise. Her beautiful eyes were filled with a strange light as she scanned Wang Feng's body like a scanner. Then, she covered her mouth and said in surprise, Wow, such a perfect body is actually not made. Is this your demon god? No, I've seen that old man Tsang Xiu before. His demon god's body is not so perfect. As she spoke, her eyes gradually became fiery. She looked at Wang Feng like a chef who saw a good ingredient. Wang Feng's eyes swept over, and a huge invisible pressure shook. In an instant, the artificial fairy's body stiffened. As if her fatal acupuncture points had been injected with needles, she twitched a few times. The mechanical deity's parts were messed up inside her body. She wrote and wrote, Get out of here. Yu Xiaoxiao saw that the situation was not right and immediately scolded the artificial fairy. Ayaya, I know. The artificial fairy looked at Wang Feng reluctantly. Dragging her stiff body, she slowly flew away. This made Wang Feng sigh. He was too handsome. Both humans and ghosts were thinking about him. Her name is Changshi. She's one of the 14 tomb realm beings in the realm of the god. Yu Xiaoxiao smiled awkwardly. This person has a strong interest in the technology of various civilizations. She came from a certain immortal civilization and could be considered an orthodox fairy. Later, she died after transcending the heavenly tribulation of that world and was schemed against by thieves. By chance, she came to the treasure trove royal city and discovered many other worlds. After that, she stopped cultivating and started tinkering with various magical machines. Part of the assembly of the eternal god Slayer was completed by her. Wang Feng nodded slightly. Not bad. Her strength was actually not bad. Her original body should not be the artificial fairy from earlier. That artificial fairy was just a tool, controlled by the other party's thoughts. What's the true demon armillary sphere? Wang Feng asked. A special instrument that contains the eternal god Slayer, Yu Xiaoxiao explained. Yu Xiaoxiao explained, the secret of eternal god slaying is something that only the arch-fiend god, archaic decay, knows. The other demon gods do not know. It is this instrument that can block the senses of the demon gods to avoid causing a bigger conflict. God Slayer, especially exclusive to God Slayer. Its aura was too unique. It could be easily sensed. The creation of the eternal God Slayer was divided among the 14 tomb realm beings. It's just that they do not know what they are creating, Yu Xiaoxiao continued. It shouldn't be easy to obtain the eternal God Slayer, right? Wang Feng asked. You will know when you see it, Yu Xiaoxiao said mysteriously. As she spoke, she led Wang Feng inside. They walked to the outside of a palace. Eternal Sacred Palace. A few ancient words were engraved on the signboard. The true demon armillary sphere is inside, Yu Xiaoxiao said softly. Yu Xiaoxiao said softly, Your Honor, the eternal God Slayer is inside. If you want to obtain it, you can go inside. Wang Feng pondered for a moment. Why did it feel like a trap? Reality drew him a big pie of the eternal God Slayer, and then told him to jump in. And that Yama Lord, from the moment they entered treasure-gathering Royal City until now, Wang Feng couldn't find any concrete evidence to prove what Yu Xiaoxiao said. Even the eternal God Slayer might be fake. However, even if it was a trap, even if it was a pie, Wang Feng was still tempted. To enter or not to enter? What's inside? Your Holiness, Why are you still hesitating? Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian looked at each other and smiled. Your Holiness, do you think we are lying to you? To be honest, it is not easy to obtain the Eternal God Slayer. The Eternal God Slayer's intelligence is comparable to that of a demon god. It is a weapon, but it is also a powerful living being. From the perspective of life, the Eternal God Slayer is a kind of life crystal condensed from the origin. It can create a world on its own. If you want to gain its recognition and become its master, even a demon god would not be able to do it. The Eternal God Slayer on the heavenly demon Venerable was cultivated by him. Its innate affinity is perfect. Chapter 1557. Yu Xiaoxiao seemed to be telling the truth. Even Wang Feng believed her. Is that so? What will happen if he fails? Wang Feng glanced at the two. If he fails, Yu Xiaoxiao thought for a moment and said carefully, he will probably die? I'm not sure. No demon god has taken the test, but with His Holiness's talent, it is almost impossible for him to fail. Since Yama said it was made for you, she must be very confident in you. Wang Fengxin chuckled. Then, he stepped into the palace. As expected of His Holiness, he is so decisive. Even if he knows it is a trap, he will still step into it. Seeing this, Yu Ren Xian sighed. At this moment, the mysterious throne suddenly appeared beside the two. The figure on the throne said slowly, "He has entered." He went in? Yes. Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian nodded. But he should have sensed something. So what if he sensed it? The figure on the throne said in a cold and lonely voice, "The Eternal God Slaying set exists. Even if he sensed something strange, he will definitely risk his life for this set. If he really gets it," Yu Xiaoxiao frowned. "This is what Yama left for His Holiness Dai, not an impostor." No, no, no. You don't understand what Yama means. Yama left it for Demon God Dai. As for whether it is real or fake, it is not important. As long as it fits perfectly with the Eternal God Slaying set, he will be the real Demon God Dai. The figure on the throne stared at the Eternal Sacred Palace. Hearing this, Yu Xiaoxiao and Yu Ren Xian were stunned. Inside the Sacred Palace, the moment Wang Feng entered, he felt that something was not right, but he could not put his finger on it. There was a vague sense of familiarity. The interior of the Sacred Palace was very ordinary. It was an empty hall. Only the center shone with a special light. Floating in the air was the true demon armillary sphere. It was a huge circular instrument made of unknown material. Because it was glowing, it blocked all perception. No one could see what was hidden inside. As Wang Feng walked forward step by step, the instrument began to turn slowly. As it turned, it was as if the world began to change. The surrounding sacred palace began to disintegrate. Then it changed rapidly. Wang Feng stopped. In an instant, everything around him disappeared. Even the armillary sphere had disappeared. There was only nothingness as far as the eye could see. It was a void without any life. No, it was chaos. Chaos in the truest sense. It's not an illusion. Wang Fengxin was greatly shaken. He only felt a hazy sense of chaos attacking him from all directions. This chaos reminded Wang Feng of the chaos origin of primordial chaos demon god in the Soul Demon Sacred City. The primal chaos source could trap the opponent in the primal chaos space, depriving them of all senses. Even spiritual power would find it difficult to sense. However, the chaos in front of him was not just a space formed by the origin. Instead, it was the true primal chaos. What kind of test is this? Or is it a trap? Wang Fengxin's mind settled. There was no killing intent, nor was there any killing intent. It didn't seem like a trap. Wang Feng didn't know. He knew nothing about it. From the moment he stepped into temple, he knew that it would be extremely difficult. But it was impossible to know what it was. Since we're already here, let's take things as they come. Wang Feng could only sense countless chaotic and violent energies. Therefore, this place was completely different from the primal chaos space formed by the primordial chaos demon god's primal chaos space. That primal chaos space could only be regarded as a simulation of the real primal chaos world. The simple space formed was only used to trap the opponent. As for the real primal chaos world, it was as if the universe had never been born. Everything was nothingness. There was no life. He couldn't feel the passage of time, nor could he feel the rhythm of space. Gradually, nothing changed. It was as if there was no danger. But it was this kind of no change that made Wang Feng a little shocked. He couldn't feel anything. The feeling of loneliness began to spread from Wang Feng's soul. Because he couldn't feel the flow of time, Wang Feng didn't even know how much time had passed. There was only loneliness. One had to know that whether it was a demon god or a godly king, their lifespan was very long. But whether it was a demon god or a godly king, even if they were in seclusion, they wouldn't be lonely. They could feel their own growth when they were in seclusion. Even if they were in seclusion for thousands or tens of thousands of years, they could still feel their own growth. For example, when Wang Feng was in seclusion in the Divine Mountain for tens of thousands of years to comprehend the origin of life, he could clearly feel his own progress and the progress of his comprehension. If Wang Feng was forced to do nothing in the Divine Mountain and couldn't feel anything, even if he couldn't stay there for tens of thousands of years, he would have gone crazy long ago. Now, he seemed to be in such a state. In this primal chaos world without even light, he couldn't cultivate, and even his thoughts and consciousness seemed to be frozen. The more he stayed, the lonelier he would feel. This kind of loneliness would even give birth to other emotions, such as fear, confusion, doubt, and so on. Wang Feng didn't know how much time had passed because nothing changed. His state of mind began to change. No, I can't go on like this. If I continue to stay like this, I'm afraid I'll go crazy. That kind of horror made Wang Feng start to move. He began to recall, so that his soul wouldn't doubt whether he existed or not. Time passed without knowing how much time had passed. Wang Feng began to recall bits and pieces of the past, starting from the Douluo world until now. Bits and pieces of memories. At first, Wang Feng felt that it was quite interesting. In his mind, it was like watching a movie, recalling many scenes and watching with relish. But after watching it a few more times, Wang Feng felt a little bored, and even fast-forwarded, only looking at some key experiences. Recalling carefully, Wang Feng could even make up for the missing memories by himself through the connection between before and after. Of course, this would take a lot of time. But because it was too lonely and boring, Wang Feng felt that it was quite interesting. The memories that the Crimson Deity Sky Fox collected, because only a part of them, were the memories of the key women in Wang Feng's memory. Therefore, after Wang Feng finished reading his own experiences, he could completely check the differences between his experiences and make up for the missing parts. The amount of work was huge, but it also allowed Wang Feng to find something to do. In the end, Wang Feng could determine how many girls were related to him, and where. As for their names, he still didn't know. Names belonged to the memories that were forcibly taken away, and it was impossible to deduce. But there must be. For example, there must be in the void domain. There must be in the divine realm. But after doing this, Wang Feng fell into that kind of loneliness again. Recalling the past didn't work anymore. Wang Fengxin's soul began to become impatient. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Feng wanted to try to break this chaotic world. He began to attack. He used the most powerful method of his avatar, and all kinds of sources appeared frequently. Even the various methods that he had comprehended in the past began to be used subconsciously. Manic, restless. But there was nothing artificial about it. End of this chapter. Chapter 1558. In this chaotic world, any attack had no effect. Moreover, the stronger the attack, the faster the divine power was lost and could not be replenished. After learning this result, Wang Feng did not dare to attack again. Wang Feng did not know if he would be able to survive in this chaos world without divine power. After an unknown amount of time, he really did not know how much time had passed. In this chaotic world, there were no time rules, no space rules, and no other rules, only chaos. Time was meaningless. Wang Feng could only feel his divine power flowing away at an extremely slow speed, but no matter how slow it was, there would be a moment when it was completely exhausted. He could not contact the main body. Wang Feng felt that if this continued, he might go crazy. Because his soul had nowhere to go, he used the elemental origin to seal and freeze himself. Then he began to think, using his soul to think. Thinking about everything, thinking about the universe, thinking about the meaning of life, thinking about the future of time, thinking about the transformation of space, thinking about women and men, thinking about the emotions of life, thinking about the god-slaying, thinking about the Yama Lord. Everything Wang Feng knew, he let his soul think and imagine. Was it so that the mind and soul wouldn't slowly stiffen in this chaotic space due to loneliness and lack of a place to settle down, and then slowly disappear on its own? With Wang Feng's current mental power, once it was activated, it was enormous. His soul was pondering over everything, entering a mysterious and profound state. A very magical state. The meaning of thinking extended infinitely. Through one thing after another, one could think infinitely far. Because there was no limit to one's thoughts. As he pondered, Wang Feng even figured out the structure of the god-slaying sword. Wang Feng did not know how much time it took. Because time had no meaning in this chaotic world. From Wang Feng thinking about the first-generation god-slaying in his body, then deducing the second-generation god-slaying, and then deducing the fifth-generation god-slaying. In the dark demon world, it would take many years. But Wang Feng had done it. It might be slightly different from the dark demon world. When he deduced the fifth-generation god-slaying, the progress slowed down. But it did not matter. When the progress here slowed down, he thought about other things. Gradually, Wang Feng found that thinking and deduction were very interesting when there was no time limit. For example, when thinking about the matters between men and women, Wang Feng could deduce countless postures and skills that were perfectly suitable for many races based on his existing memories. Furthermore, his deduction speed was extremely fast. Wang Feng felt that he might be talented in this aspect. In fact, he had even created a model for himself. In the future, whenever he saw any race, he would be able to quickly analyze them based on the changes in their life forms, body size, and various body parts. He would be able to see where their fatal points were at a glance, as well as how to make them enjoy themselves to the fullest and reach the peak. Wang Feng admired himself for that. There was really nothing else to think about. What the hell am I thinking about? After a long time. What the hell? Wang Feng's soul let out a sigh. In the world of chaos, Wang Feng could only think with his soul, which was probably the only thing he could do now. In the end, everything returned to normal. Wang Feng began to think about himself. He thought about everything that had happened to him. System. The system did not reply. This meant that the system had been shut down for a long time. Wang Feng began to think about everything that this clone possessed. Perhaps this unknown and mysterious chaotic world was some kind of test? In that case, how should he break it? He couldn't possibly keep thinking in such a world, right? In that case, no matter how much he thought, he would just be a giant of thoughts. If he could not leave this world, it would be meaningless. From the origin tribulation divine king's origin, these were the powers that he had inherited. From the condensed divine rings to his own strength. Ever since this clone walked out of the divine mountain, Wang Feng had always felt that something was missing. Something was missing from him. Especially after entering the divine realm and condensing his first divine ring. I have relied too much on this origin tribulation divine king's origin. Wang Fengxin was slightly shocked. That's right. Origin was different from others. Even after obtaining the fourth divine ring, Wang Feng had not comprehended his own origin. All his battles were based on the origin tribulation divine king's origin. In theory, this was actually not a problem. The inherited origin was also the origin. The Azura deity position and the sea god deity position that Tang San inherited were not his own. However, they were not his after all. Just like the self-created deity position in the Douluo world. In a sense, creating a deity position was equivalent to comprehending the origin law. It was something that belonged to him. The difficulty was naturally very high. Whether it was a demon god or a deity king, they could all inherit their own origin. However, the origin energy that was passed down was not something that one comprehended on their own. I should create my own origin. I should have done this from the beginning. Wang Feng finally knew what the final goal of his soul that had nowhere to go was. What origin should I create? What is suitable for me? Wang Feng's soul began to think. Recalling everything that had happened to him, he once again recalled the countless experiences that he had recalled. After careful analysis, this feeling was very strange. It was like a bystander watching a movie of his life. There was a kind of enjoyment from another perspective. The origin tribulation divine king's origin was very powerful. Not only was it suitable for him, but any expert who inherited it would be able to exert the strength of the origin. Therefore, until now, Wang Feng had relied on the origin tribulation divine king to crush the weak. Suitable for me, Wang Feng couldn't help but think of the special model that he had just thought of. No, I shouldn't think about these useless things. Why are you thinking about this again? Wait a moment. Perhaps I should expand this model, and not only focus on the opposite sex, but also focus on all living beings. What do you think? At this time, Wang Feng was suddenly stunned. His soul seemed to burst out with a kind of light. If I can create an origin model, I can instantly analyze my origin model and obtain all information about my opponent. Even a demon god won't be able to escape from me. But this should be very difficult. I need to reach a higher level of strength. Then, what is the point of this origin model? I can't face a stronger opponent. But it's not meaningless. If I can combine it with killing a god, perhaps it will work? Thinking of this, everything seemed to have returned to the beginning. Wang Feng seemed to have forgotten his original intention of coming here. He couldn't remember how much time had passed. He had even forgotten his purpose of coming here. But now, he suddenly woke up. Wait, I seem to be in this chaotic world to kill a god. Yes, to kill a god for eternity. His thoughts came back like a tide. It seemed like countless centuries had passed. I must find a way to leave this place. Wang Feng took a deep breath. Once again, he felt this chaotic and helpless world. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.